Ladies and gentlemen, whoops, I have the wrong music up. You don't want to hear that. Welcome. Look, it's been a long week, okay? It's been a really, really long week. Oh my god. Nah, here, let's just go with generic music for the moment. Let's just do this. Very first thing, because some people can be watching on the VOD, of course. A lot of people have been asking how my trip went. I just want to give a really quick thing. Trip was awesome, except for the back. I mean, obviously, my back and neck are absolutely killing me. Still, that's not true. It's getting a lot better. But it was absolutely terrible. I was in a hellacious amount of pains. Got one of those heating bead packs, and I just had it on my neck every morning to deal with it. But I mean, that's not their fault. It's an inflatable. What are you going to do? I have back problems. But it was great to see my dad. It was great to see my dad's wife. I'm not sure what to call her. I guess that would be step-law? Or would that be mother-in-law? I'm not sure which that would be. I never remember. Anyways, regardless, that was awesome to see them. They kept telling me how to improve my show in ways that would have applied if it was 20 years ago. I love them. Really, I do. Oh, I keep looking in the wrong direction. Sorry. I've actually switched up my monitor setup because I got that stand last night and set it up. I'm like, all right, great. I'm going to have the stand. The monitor will be here. And it was about 20 inches too short. So I'm going to have to return that and get my money back. And instead, I have completely shifted this around. Oh, what I need to go is I need to go to radio stations, Mike Romano, and sell my podcast to radio stations too. Anyways, so new bed is here, new mattress is here. God, I keep looking over here. I'm so used to looking over here because this is actually my real monitor, the one I'm staring at right here on the side. This is going to be the game monitor. It's actually blank right now, but the webcam's right there. Anyways, so to look at this empty screen here, new mattress is here. It's right over there. It is working well so far. In fact, I have a feeling, fingers crossed, that it's working super well because last night I didn't wake up in the middle of the night in pain. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that just sounds good. But that if you're saying that, you don't understand how abnormal that is to me. I usually wake up an average of 2 to 5 times a night to just get up and stretch and go to the bathroom and take some leave. That's normal for me. So I'm hoping that that's indicative. Hi, Easel. By the way, hi, Kalaric. Welcome to the stream. Catching one of those live shoutouts. Don't be a stranger. Did I think I was dead? Yes, I was dead! My parents were dead. Except they're not. They're both fine. They're all fine. But yeah, so that's great. Where's my list of things? That really shouldn't be a normal thing. You'd be amazed what people get used to. It's actually kind of sad what people get used to in their lives. My mother right now, I keep looking at the wrong monitor. My mom right now, Lore Mom, she actually takes about 3 hydrocodone a day. That's normal. That's what she's used to because of the amount of pain she's in. Yeah, 3, no joke. That's just her daily regime. Anyways, I want to talk briefly about something I'm doing, just as a kind of announcement. First of all, as ever, I want to plug the Loreweek Theater. Whoops, I don't need the heating pad. My back's fine. I don't actually need the heating pad. I want to plug the Loreweek Theater. So we're still pushing forward. We just finished Chapter 6 for editing and timing. And we're going forward with that. Everything's going great. We've just got a new voice actor for Marcus and a new voice actor for Blank. I still need to listen to, I think it's Maverick, who's trying to voice Baku, because we were missing Baku. But once we have him in, that'll be all the characters we were missing that we lost when Anselmo bowed out of the project. So that'll be great. We can finally finish up Chapter 1, 2, and 3, all of which are very close to being done as of now. We have a ton of openings for NPCs. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but as I've said many, many, many times, I'm really big on making sure as many different actors play as many different NPCs as possible in order to get variety, in order to make it better, you know. Because, I mean, this sounds so dumb, but it's the Dragon Age Origins thing, right? I want every random NPC who has 3 lines of dialogue to have a good voice actor, otherwise it's just jarring. So don't think of that as like a negative, oh, you suck. I would love to have anybody who wants to be interested in doing NPCs. All you need to have is a good mic, have good reliability, and access to my Discord. So, anyways, that's where we're at that. I haven't actually done a lot in the Loreweek Theater this last week, for obvious reasons, because I've been busy. Next thing I want to talk about is the Mainliner project, just really quick. Now, the Mainliner project, yeah, less Skyrim, exactly. Less Oblivion, let's just be honest with it. I love Oblivion, but Oblivion's voice acting for random NPCs is garbage. Have you heard of the High Elves? Anyways, what I want to talk about is the Mainliner project. The Mainliner project is something I'm doing kind of for fun, mostly for fun, but also for, if I'm being completely honest, for practice. Because I want to be a mainliner, and I want to actually do that kind of stuff. Now, some of you are like, what the hell's a mainliner? Quick thing. Mainliner, apparently, I actually looked this up. Apparently, mainliner is someone who puts drugs into their veins, but that's not what I mean by it. I came up with this term years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I may have to change it since there's an official definition, which means nothing like what I'm talking about. But what I call, when I say a mainliner, what I refer to is someone who is the main person in charge of coordinating a creative work. Now, that could be a singular work like JMS was for Babylon 5. It could be a multimedia work like Kevin Feige is for the MCU. Both of these are examples of mainliners. And there's plenty of examples of that. And I've argued many times over the years that a good mainliner is mandatory for good fiction. To use an example, another example, Chris Metzen was the mainliner for World of Warcraft, basically up until about Wrath. I think Kata is when he started bowing out of that. And I think that was a good thing for a while, you know, blah, blah, blah. So you get my point. I was up to Pandaria, wasn't it? Whatever, you get the point. So I'm trying to be a mainliner. Now, what this means functionally is, on my Discord and the Creative Endeavors channel, I might make a new channel for this, we're doing a thing where people are writing stories set in the Imperium, in my setting. And they're sitting down, jotting that down. I've given out some info, more concrete info about the timeline and the setting, races, characters, concepts, etc. And I'm coordinating with them, and they're the ones actually making the story. It's their story, but it's set within my setting. I'm trying to make sure it fits, make sure it's contiguous, and make sure that there's some kind of connecting threads, either narratively or setting-wise or whatever. And so far, I've already read, Savacom has already done some stuff. I've already read hers. I've already had some feedback from her. I've already read Eingrad's thing. He's already done some stuff. Carbon's looking into it. Dream Whisperer bowed out of it, but I don't blame him. So anybody interested in that, just let me know. Again, Creative Endeavors channel. I wanted to plug that really quick. Okay, next thing is fear, apparently. Look at a timestamp here really quick. Where are we at? First of all, thank you very much, Jimmy Bailey. As ever, much appreciate those Tier 1 subs, even though I don't ask for them. Would you like to put that towards anything? Which is, ironically, the very next thing I'm going to talk about. So this is my big announcement for this. This is actually already true. This has already been true, but this is my nice, big, open, announcement. For those of you not aware, we're going to make a thing now where people who do subs on Twitch can now put those subs towards things, towards premiere runs or lore runs or mini nations are the three big things. All that stuff's on the website. You can see it on the left. I've got a new system in place, nice big visual system, progress bars, etc. And
welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
And Easel's donating for some reason. Why are you donating to me? I don't understand. No, don't say put it towards what I need the most. Because part of the point here is for you to fund it, but also to gauge interest, to see what you're interested in, because we're showcasing things, like, for example, I'll use a direct example. Rax, who's definitely not in stream right now, put money towards Duskers, I think is the name of the game, something like that. And he's the only one so far. Now, that's fine. He's funded it, and he's given me the game, so that's funded. But that's one person showing interest. Thus, that's why that's blue on the website. And the more... yeah, get this guy out of here! It's rocks! We all know it's rocks. So, that way, I can see how many people are interested in what games, and that kind of helps gauge interest. And then we got more fear. So don't say put it towards anything. You need to put it towards something. If you put it towards nothing, it means you're not interested in anything. That's the feedback I'm getting from that. Anyways, thank you very much, Easel Games. As ever, those Twitch Prime subs are much appreciated, much awesome. Would you like to put that towards anything? I feel like I just said this. And again, so I don't know the specifics of this, but I know that you can do like a comment when you do the resub jingle or whatever. You could, if you just want to, going forward, you could just put in that, I put this towards such and such. And again, the whole list is on the website. If there's something on the site or rather something that is not on the site that you're interested in, just let me know. You know, just poke at me and say, hey, this is what I'm interested in. I'm not guaranteing or promising it'll go on the list, but you know, because I like to vet stuff first. But you know, the door is open, so to speak. Now, Easel Games, I don't understand your question. You're going to have to help me out with that. Also, if you do a silent sub, Eingrad, I have no way of tracking that whatsoever. The only way, this is the other point of news here, the only way I have of tracking this stuff is those notifications. So, and I know that's unfair, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, please feel free to hit those jingles to make sure that I know that a sub is going through and is renewed for a month, so that I can then put it towards something and show interest in something, okay? It's the only method I got. That's all I got. Okay, so Easel Games donated. He says, just wanted to say you suck, and I hate you. And I'm filled with fear. Thank you very, very much, Easel Games, as ever. Much appreciated. Much appreciated that donation, and the Twitch sub, obviously. Can what the sub go to change from month to month? Yes, good question, Micromano, and the answer is yes. Every time I get that notification, what I'm doing, I'll just go and tell you this. What I'm doing is I'm treating each notification as basically a mini donation, okay? One more month of you supporting me. So it's like one, think of it as one currency, okay? And I'm allocating those currencies or writing down those currencies for what they go to. Again, mostly to gauge interest, because I only get $2 from those subs, each sub. But the point, again, is showing interest. And because you guys are still supporting me, I want to give you more of a vote and more of a say in what I do. Kind of a thank you sort of a thing. Now, Easel did ask if the floodgates are still open. That's actually my next topic. The floodgates are currently open, but we're going to be in the voting phase. Now, here's the thing. I've already closed the nominations phase. It's done. The spreadsheet is closed. I actually have the spreadsheet right here. I just want to say publicly and openly how proud I am of you guys. I had to make 10 changes to this spreadsheet. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's horrible. No, that's all I had to do. 10 edits in the whole spreadsheet for people who weren't actually patrons, or for people who put the wrong name in, or for people who requested something that wasn't happening, stuff like that. That's all I had to do, and in a list of like 219. I'm very, very proud of you guys. You guys are awesome. And for those of you who don't understand quite why I'm so happy about that, the spreadsheet was just open for editing. So anybody could pop in who had the link and just edit away. And you guys are awesome. Love you. So, I'm not going to list the whole list. It's 219 nominations. Staring at them right now. 2 of these might be invalid because they're from people who are not currently a patron, who just became a patron, who have not paid in yet. So I put those in red so you can look at that. In fact, I don't even mind sharing this. Here, I'll go ahead and share this because you can't edit it now. Give me this. So if anybody wants to see what the nominations list is, there it is. Boop. Excuse me. And so the ones in red are people who might become patrons over the next week because they're going to be charged for that tomorrow, actually. But yeah, 219 nominations. A lot of films. A whole lot of films in this list. I need to go through and make sure I have all of the ones that are films labeled as films because it helps me with the paperwork side of things. You got it, Easel Games. You got it. If I could find the thing. Apparently I can't. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I have so many documents up on my screen right now. And I'm on one monitor and it's to my right over here. If you wonder why I'm looking to the right, that's why. There it is. Okay. So we'll do this. Easel Games. Spyro. Got it. So here's the thing. I was actually going to open up the voting cycle of the floodgates today, but then I realized that the sub cycle, or rather the Patreon billing cycle, is tomorrow. So what I'm instead do, I'm pushing it back a single week, which is actually going to screw with my schedule a little bit, but I'm pushing back a week, so you guys have a week to think about what you're going to vote on. I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up on how that's going to work right now. It's going to be very simple. You are going to have to email me. Now, I want to explain this really quick. Last year, we did a thing where you all just replied to a video post that was on Patreon that was patrons only, and you just said, this is what I vote for. Now, that worked kind of okay, but it was a huge hassle, and people kept editing their comments and editing what they were voting for, and I have literally zero indication or notifier of that. And so several people came to me and said, wait a minute, why aren't there 3 votes for this? I voted for this. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You changed it. It was very frustrating. It was a constant hassle. So instead, we're going to make this very simple. You got to email me. I'll use the show email that I designed specifically for the show, just for this. Don't worry, I won't steal all your infos, I swear. and you'll email me. You have to say 2 things in the email: what you're voting for and what your Patreon name is. Now, I don't care what your Twitch name is. I don't care what your Discord name is. I need your Patreon name. If I do not get something from a Patreon name, it's invalid because it's not a patron. Okay? So, to be very clear, that needs to be 1-to-1. Actually, a huge number of my viewers do not use Twitter easel. That's why we're not actually doing that. So, that's basically how we're going to do the voting cycle. Again, that's not starting yet. Don't start voting yet. Don't start emailing me yet. Hi, Magister. But that'll be starting as of next week. Now, next Sunday, I'll make an announcement. There will be a video going live on Patreon, etc., etc. Now, the way this is going to work, we're going to do these things a little bit differently than last year. So, you guys have already voted on Patreon for how we're going to handle nominations this coming year. And the overwhelming majority of you voted that I should pick half of the ruminations, and you guys will pick the other half. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to look at that list, and I'm going to pick out 12, I think? Yeah, 12 of those things. I'll have to look at the exact numbers, but I'm going to pick 12 things from that list, and then I'm just going to pull them off the list because I've picked them. And then you guys get to pick 13. And so you will have 13 slots to fill with ruminations. Okay? Now, I'm not sure of the exact numbers. Again, I actually have the calendar right here. I'm going to sit down and count for the 2019 calendar year to figure out exactly how many slots you have. But that's the idea. I'll pick 12, you pick 13. Whatever the top 13 is going to win, okay? Each viewer, each patron gets 1 vote. We're simplifying it down from last year. The 3-vote method worked in some cases and did exactly what I thought it was going to do in other cases, so we're just going to stop doing that. So you get 1 vote, 1 pick. And you say, that one! Given the circumstances, I'm not committed to this yet. So some of you may be aware, last year, my most supportive patrons basically just got to pick something. And my most supportive patrons are awesome. What I'm probably going to do, although I am not committing to this yet, I want to make that very clear, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let that continue. They're going to go ahead and pick, but that's not going to be part of the 25. I'm going to put that on top of my existing schedule. So for 10 weeks in the year, there's going to be an additional rumination. Or actually, it's... Rewind. So the reason there's 25 is we're only doing 1 every 2 weeks. Because my work schedule is starting to actually kill me. And that's not a joke. So we're pulling back a little bit on that, and we're going to try the once every other week. I fully anticipate losing patrons as a consequence of this change. And that I understand, too, because I'll be producing less content. But... or rather, actually, that's not true. I won't be producing less content. I'll be producing less rumination content because I'll still be streaming my brains out. Point being that, what? It's true. So the idea is there's going to be the 25 standard. That's the every other week. And then the top patrons will basically get to pick, I'm not sure if it's 10, but, whatever. And then, so there will actually be 35 ruminations in the coming year. So, towards the end of the year, it'll be every week instead of every other week. Make sense? If it doesn't, I got nothing. So that's how we're going to be doing that. Again, voting starts next week. Show ruminations will always be continuing. Yes, those are amazingly, phenomenally popular. In fact, we'll go ahead and discuss that now. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm very likely to start... So, for those of you not aware, we have a huge number of shows to look at that there's already interest in, there's already financial interest in, and I already have interest in and already have access to look at for television ruminations on Monday and Tuesdays. Thing is, that's going to take literally about 8 years in order to go through all of that. Now, I mean, I do plan to be doing this show for 8 years, but at the same time, priorities have shifted a little bit, and interest has shifted a little bit. And long story short, what I'm thinking about doing is shifting it so that we basically only really do the big shows, like the Star Trek shows, on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we kind of shift the other ones into the Many Nations category, like we have already done with the Clone Wars. Now, that's still going to be a little bit of additional work on me because of issues, but that's okay, because it's very, very easy for me to watch an episode and then sit down and record 4 minutes of me talking about it. That's way, way less time and effort and interest than what I do for all the TNG stuff and the DS9 stuff. So, that's kind of the idea with that. I haven't decided which other shows are going into the mini nations. However, you will notice that Star Wars Rebels is already a show that's being basically nominated for a mini nation after we finish Clone Wars. And I am going to need money to do that because I'm going to need to be dropping $100 into watching the show in a viewable format for me. I'm okay with doing that, but I mention this because this is another thing you could put donations, Patreon subs, Twitch subs, or bits towards. All of that can go towards mini-nation suggestions as well. I am taking other mini-nation suggestions. I've already had several, actually. One person suggested we start going through the DCAU, for example. Batman the Animated Series and Justice League United, all that fun stuff. So, that is another absolute option. Daredevil Season 1 for mini-nations, that is possible, because that's just on Netflix, so that's quick and easy. So that's also a possibility. So that's where we're going with mini-nations going in the future. Yeah, Farscape is probably going to be full ruminations, not mini-nations. I don't know when that's going to happen, to be completely honest with you. I don't want to commit to that either. I know this sounds strange, but one of the things I found when I was going through Babylon 5 is I just did not have that much to say about it. So the average episode length of my Babylon 5 episodes was about 15 to 20 minutes, which I suppose is fine, but it always felt weird because my average length, for example, of a TNG thing is about 44 minutes, give or take. So I'm not sure if Farscape is going to be like Babylon 5 or like TNG. I don't know. So I'm not fully 100% committed on that. I need to do more research on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some test ruminations on Farscape, see what I have to say, see how long it goes, and see whether I think it should be in a rumination or a mini-nation category. One of the two. Anyways, that's about it for information on the show, news on the show. Sorry for rambling so much. Where's my list? I got a billion list of things to look at. Okay, so that's just the very first thing on my list of stuff to cover today. Rumination of Lost. All right, so there's this polar bear, right? Now forget about him because he'll never be important again. There you go. Rumination on Lost. Now that that's done, I already talked about that. Let's cover some quick and dirty news. Which is also known as the Fear News. 21:55. Thank you very, very much, Emma Scardo. As ever, much appreciate those Twitch Prime subs. What would you like to put that towards? I'm just going to keep asking that until it becomes normal. That's how that works. That's how you build something into practice. You just have to keep doing it until people catch on. So, what would you like to put that towards, Emma Scardo? Oh! And there's another one. Now, this is interesting. I get a notification of this, but there's no audio notification. But this still counts because Trickster's Lab still continued a sub. So, let's get another fear going right there for Trickster. Thank you very, very much for continuing that sub. What would you like to put that towards? Now, I'm just going to cover a bunch of news. This is all little stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm just going to go down the list here. Probably Mini-Nation, honestly, Anthony. At least Atlantis in Universe. I'm not sure about SG-1. There's a new Witcher game coming out called Thronebreaker. And, it's weird because this game is coming out in about 23 days, 24 days, actually. It's coming out very soon, and we know basically nothing about it. It's gonna follow Meve, it's gonna be the Northern Queen, the Nilfgaardians are gonna be invading. It's a single-player RPG, and that's about it. That's about all I was able to find. So, woo! I'm interested, I'm curious. We might add it to the Premiere Run list, even though I have 1,000 million billion other games. Cardo, Devil May Cry 5. Thank you again very much, MS Cardo. I almost said Devil May Cardo. So, yeah, more Witcher stuff. I'm with it. Playing as a non-Witcher, I'm with it. Cool. We'll get to that when we get there. Next thing to mention. So, I've mentioned this before, and I know people make fun of me, but to re-stress this with total sincerity, I actually really do love the fact that we're getting so many games on the Switch. That's awesome, and I'm very happy about that. We're getting a couple of games on the Switch, and because I feel like being silly, I'm going to list all these games. Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Alien Soldier, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Beyond Oasis, Biohazard Battle, Bonanza Brothers, Columns, Columns 3, The Revenge of Columns, Comics Zone, Crackdown, Decap Attack, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Dynamite Heady, E-SWAT, City Under Siege, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Gain Ground, Galaxy Force 2, Golden Axe 2, Golden Axe 3, Gunstar Heroes, Kid Chameleon, Landstalker, Light Crusader, Fantasy Star 2, 3, and 4, Rystar, Shadow Dancer, Shining in the Darkness, Shining Force 2, Shinobi 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, Sonic 3D, Sonic Spinball, Space Harrier 2, Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3, Super Thunderblade, Sword of Vermilion, Revenge of Shinobi, Toe Jam and Earl 2, Vector Man 2, and Virtua Fighter 2. That's gonna be $30. Yes! More of this! More of this! I gotta be completely honest, I'm only interested in like 8 of those games. I'm still buying the crap out of that. Because voting with my wallet. I just keep doing this with the Switch. I'm voting with my wallet. Make it happen! More of this! So that's the Genesis... What's this actually called? The classic Sega Genesis? Is that what it's called? What's the proper title? Hang on. Oh yeah, this is also coming out on PS4 and Xbone. Sorry. Oh, apparently... Sorry, this has apparently already come out on Xbone and PS4. My bad. It's also payable on Steam, apparently. Woo! Here we go. Sega Genesis Classics. That's the proper term. That's the term. Sorry, this isn't the Sega Ages thing. That's actually a different thing. Which I'm also in favor of. Speaking of which, the PlayStation Classic is coming out in early December. I don't know what I think of this one. So, this is a weird one. The PlayStation Classic is the NES Classic and SNES Classic, except it's the PlayStation. There's a couple of weird things about this one. First of all, we don't know what's on it. Like, we know... I'm trying to find the list. I was just looking at it. Here we go. We know FF7, Jumping Flash... I don't even know what that is. Ridge Racer Type 4, and Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. That's what we know is going to be on it. They say they're going to be 20 titles. Okay. What else is going to be on it? Now... Admittedly, I will not be buying this, just because I was never much of a PlayStation, I'd say kid. I was in college when the PlayStation was coming out. Well, damn it, so I'm being filled with some fear right now, especially for Zed Slayer, who is quickly approaching the 1.5 year mark. Thank you very, very much, Zed Slayer. What would you like to put that towards? Hang on a second. And also, Maverick, thank you very, very much for putting that towards the Mini Nations. I actually have a separate thing here for Rebels. So, Maverick, 20 at 25. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What games would I want on the PS Classic? So, let me rewind a second before I actually answer that. You got it, Zed Slayer. So, I'm sorry, I completely forgot about this. God, I'm sorry. Really quick, you can put your donations to something that's already funded. Doing so shows interest, if that makes any sense. So, I will absolutely put that toward... I'm going to make a separate category right now, because you're the first person to do that, Zed Slayer. Diablo or Run. Put that right there. Bam. So you can do that if you want to push interest and push something up in the schedule. Now, I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize. I'll mention it again next year. Anyways, so PlayStation Classic. What games do I want on it? Last I checked, which was admittedly almost a year and a half ago, there was a whole lot of PlayStation 1 games on the PSN, the PlayStation Network. And you could just get those on the PS3 and the PSP. And that was awesome. I actually bought several games on the PSP, or on the PSN, I should say, and had it on the PSP and the PS3, and that's all awesome. I haven't added it to the website yet, Justin. I'm sorry. I haven't had a chance to get caught up. I hit the ground running as soon as I got back from vacation, so I apologize for not getting there. Anyways, so that's awesome. The PSN thing was awesome. Then the PS4 didn't have the PSN, or rather it had a separate PSN. That sucked. I don't know if that's since changed. Rack says no. Rack says it hasn't changed. I'm willing to trust him on that one, because he's probably on the PS4 more than I am. But that sucked. I was actually willing to go ahead and pick up several more PSN games to be able to play on the PS4, and couldn't, which was terrible. And that is terrible, and it's awful. Now, I mentioned that specifically, though, because this whole PlayStation Classic thing is reducing the chances of more PS1 being ported to PS4. So let me rewind a second and put this in Nintendo terms. I'd rather have N64 games on the Switch than an N64 Classic. You with me? Same mentality. I would like several PS1 games to be on the PSN for PS4. PS. But with this PlayStation Classic, this is going to be interesting because now it's like they don't have to put these games on the PS4, PSN anymore. They have the PlayStation Classic. Go buy that. You know? That's why I'm kind of... So that's why I look at this PlayStation Classic like... So having said that, acknowledging that, I want all the games I don't enjoy on the PlayStation Classic, so the ones I do enjoy are on the PS4. Having now answered your question... No, they're not going to do that. They're going to go with the big names. We'll never get Legend of Dragoon. That'd be awful. I mean, it would be great, but you get my point. Yeah, when they shut down the PS3 servers, which they will inevitably do, it's going to be an issue. What's the memory capacity of the Switch? I assume you mean hard drive capacity. You get a little SD card. So I've got like 250 gigs, for example, on mine. Oh, Mario Football, all the way, Sonic. Assuming you mean soccer, to be completely clear about my terminology. I was talking to Dad over the weekend, or over the week, sorry, and he was talking about something going on with the... I don't even remember the name of the team, God. And I was like, yeah, sorry, I don't know much about football. I usually just watch football. Now, he got it immediately. But usually when I say something like that, I get a couple of strange stares, like, what? Anyways. What's my next thing? So, what else? Can I get a hashtag screw CBS, please? For those of you not aware of this, Stage 9, who has been doing some work for, God, a while at this point, have been making their own 3D renders of Star Trek stuff. You know, making their own 3D renders. Yes, I did, Easel. Of, you know, like the Enterprise D and the Intrepid class and the Defiant, all sorts of cool stuff like that. Putting a lot of work and effort into it. Fan project, they're awesome. Stage 9 is awesome. I've mentioned them a couple of times, but I've been trying not to push them in that direction because, again, I don't want to give them too much attention. And CBS decided to send them a cease and desist because CBS is stupid and evil. And I stress the order in which I say those two denominators. Stupid, then evil. Because I've done a lot of study of copyright law this year. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this. And one of the biggest arguments, I myself have given this argument of, you know, we have to go after people is because of how broken the system is. Because anytime you don't go after a person, you're leaving yourself open for legal attack, right? Turns out there's actually a completely easy and swift way around that. You just do a quick thing saying, I'm okay with this exact instance of it. Bam! Done. So it's actually not necessary. And all the times I defended... I shouldn't say defended, but it tried to speak in a more moderate tone of companies doing this, is all been thrown out the window. Nintendo could have just gone to AM2R3X57, you know, another Metroid 2 remake, and said, hey, we're okay with you doing this remake as long as you don't sell it. Bam! Shunk! Legally tight. It would take, like, maybe a grand total of an hour. You could default that. You could template that. Here's the default list saying this is cool. I do know an example of that. Actually, no, that wasn't an example of that. There are examples of people doing that Savicom. It's extremely rare. I do have a theory on why that is, but it is actually extremely rare. I'll go and give the theory, because I feel like it. There's an old saying, and this is going to sound very cynical, but this is true, I swear. Laws are for lawyers. The idea here, obviously that doesn't apply universally, because laws as a concept, but I don't mean laws as in don't kill people. I mean, in Section 35, Paragraph 7, Sentence B, this pursuant to further acclimate of this claimant's climate, that stuff, okay? That's for lawyers. And the theory here is that lawyers, in general, attorneys, district attorneys, prosecutors, defense attorneys, state attorneys, there's actually like 7 or 8 different types of attorneys, all continue this contractese thing and this legalese thing because it keeps them in business. And thus every lawyer is to some extent or another on board with this concept because they all benefit from it. If you want a specific, public defendants, if you want a specific example of what I'm talking about, consultants in the late 90s here in the United States. For those of you who weren't really cognizant of what was going on at that point in time, it was called the consultant cycle. What happened is consultants would tell you how to change stuff at your company, what to change, what needs to be altered and whatnot, and then they would no longer be employed there, but another consultant would be brought in to help you acclimate to the change and figure out what you need to do in order to adjust your things. And then they would say, well, maybe you need to change this and this, and let me recommend this other consultant. And then a third consultant, or even the first consultant, would come back in, and it was this cycle. It was this constant cycle of adjustment because there was a lot of consultant firms here in the United States that were basically perpetuating their own business by constantly ensuring that they had companies, they generated an artificial need for their services. Yeah, I know, hazardous. The only reason I say 90s and not now is because I know with definitive totality that this was true in the 90s. I don't know how true this is nowadays, so I can't speak to that with total certainty. So yeah, CBS can go burn. And the CBS lawyers can go burn for a much longer period of time. Now, nobody pays FF14 Frozen, sorry. That took a second. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, because I don't have much else to say about that. PlayStation 4, Sony is finally opening up crossplay with the PS4. Woo! That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. Crossplay is a good thing and should be more. I really do firmly believe that crossplay is a thing that just should be normal at this particular day and age in gaming. Now, that's awesome, and I give Sony props for that, and I give PS4 props for that. I think they're already doing it as of right now. I'm not sure of my timeline. It's per game. It's not per console. Fortnite is crossplay, I believe, right now. And the idea, from everything I've read, is that they're going to start pushing this at that going forward, which is good. That is a definitely good thing. Bethesda's still stupid. So, for those of you not aware, Bethesda made a public announcement. I don't have the words in front of me. Please forgive me. That was something along the lines of, paraphrased, yeah, Fallout 76 isn't going to be crossplay since, we put out Fallout 76 on the PS4, and they're not going to have crossplay, so, And then Sony's like, yeah, we're going to open up crossplay, and Bethesda says, oh, well, we're still not going to. Anyways... I'd like to say I support Bethesda, and Lord knows I probably defend Bethesda more than most people. But what the hell is wrong with these people? Anyways. Minecraft Dungeons. Anybody heard about this? It's a new video game. They just announced it at the TGS, where it's going to be a dungeon crawler, Diablo-style loot-em-up in Minecraft. I'm not sure what I think about that. Yeah, this came out of nowhere for me. I'd never even heard of this before. So... We'll see. We'll see exactly where they're going with that. Telltale what? I've never even heard of that company. Sorry, Anthony. But Minecraft Dungeons, it's actually kind of an interesting concept. I kind of wanted to stretch this into a full topic, but I think I'm going to save that for later because that's one of those no time associated topics. The general idea is, I like the idea of settings stretching out into new genres. I've liked that for a long time. Basically, the way I like to say it is, ever since... Yeah, I know, right, Zetzler? Ever since Super Mario RPG on the SNES and Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Those are the two big ones for me. But really, SMRPG is really the big one. Ever since then, I've been in favor of the idea... What is this Telltale everyone keeps talking about? Ever since SMRPG, I've been in favor of the idea of just trying to branch out and try something new. Doesn't always succeed. It's not always something good. But I do think we've gotten a lot of very good games out of those kind of concepts. So the idea of Minecraft going into dungeon work, it just actually makes kind of a degree of sense, especially for the way the game actually works. And as is already pointed out, mods already do that right now. Yeah, we need to make a drinking game for the Telltale thing. Now, this is another piece here, for those of you not aware. I know, right, Max? They're bringing up some kind of Walking Dead thing. I don't know. Vivendi, yes. God damn it, Azure. So, this is another bit. I know most of you don't care about this, but this is good news in my book. Vivendi has committed to selling off the remainder of their shares of Ubisoft. Now, that's awesome. That's actually very, very good. Vivendi is going to be pulling fully 100% out of any ownership of Ubisoft. That is amazing, as far as I'm concerned. MS Cardo just reduced their Patreon pledge. No! And I think that's a very good thing. I'm not going to go into all the details because I know not all of you care about economic news, but this is related to their attempted takeover of Ubisoft earlier this year, which failed. There was a lot of issue with making that happen, but it did fail, thank God. Vivendi is another of those companies that just likes to eat up smaller properties and then chew them and spit them out. To this very day, Blizzard is still feeling some of the rippling effects of having been owned by Vivendi, for example, just to name one example of that. So Vivendi pulling completely out of Ubisoft is awesome. Max Time says, now about the bad. So Tencent was one of the other companies that got in and is buying more into Ubisoft. And I bet most of you have never even heard of Tencent, which is part of the problem. Tencent is a Chinese company, Chinese-based company that owns an astonishing percentage of certain markets of video gaming. My favorite example is the fact that Tencent basically owns both Fortnite and PUBG. They own quite a bit. So, oh, hang on, I just got a Patreon who increased their pledge. That guy's awesome. Just a Chinese Ubisoft. Tencent has publicly committed to not actually, to use the layman's term, to not have a seat on the board for Ubisoft. We'll see. That's not a legally binding agreement. We'll see. I think that's it for my random news. So let's go ahead and get a timestamp here. I knew it! Let's go ahead and talk about Telltale. Let's do that next. Because I've got an order in which I want to do all this stuff today. And Rax is cool. Yeah, Richard Gere would be Tencent. That's actually a great analogy. Let's talk about Telltale. Let's talk about fear. Now, I love this. Sonic Doctor, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I love how you bothered to put a comment that wasn't what you're putting that towards. You put a comment, but you... We're getting some double fear in on this. Thank you very, very much, Eyes Your Master. What would you like to put that towards? Put it towards fear. You got it. Let me jot this down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fears. There we go. Okay. Got it all. Hang on. MS Cardo just re-increased their pay. I wasn't trying to call you out, MS Cardo. you can leave it down. I understand financial issues. I do, I swear. Trust me. I don't make enough to live alone. I understand financial issues. Thank you, Easy Games. Technically, I can't ask what you want to put that towards, because for the nature, due to the nature of the system, I basically have to leave the dollar as the minimum amount. So, Sekiro, you got it. I'm actually looking forward to that one myself, and I'm not into Souls games. So we'll put this here. Make sure I spell that right. Sekiro. There we go. And Eyes Your Master is going to put it towards your master, Spyro. That's the first thing you said. 100 bits. Oh, I know, Hazardous. I know. Yeah. So... let's talk about Telltale. Just to cover the basics, for those of you not aware, Telltale Studios has functionally shut down. Roughly 250-ish people. There's actually some conflicting reports on this number. But basically everyone got fired. And when I say fired, I want to make my terminology very clear. In the realm of corporate America, I don't know how this works in other countries, there's, in order from best to worst, there's being downsized, laid off. Actually, no, I guess that's not true. There's temporary leave of absence. Then there's downsized. Then there's laid off. Then there's fired. Fired is basically the worst. I cannot make my face cam bigger, no. I must be very small. It's very important to me. Also, I would be covering the chat over there, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, 30 minutes to leave the building. That's fired. It's as bad as it gets. Now, firing is something that companies try to avoid as much as they possibly can. Here in the States, again, I don't know how this works in other countries, but here in the States, because there's a lot of things that are now in place legally and financially. This is from Witcher 3. I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Hang on. Xerxes-me. There we go. Xerxes-me. That's what I'm going to say. Anyways, so if you are fired, there's a lot of things that can protect you and help you to get back on your feet. It's actually one of the only nice things about corporate America is the fact that if someone fires you, you can get you almost are guaranteed to get unemployment, and you can have a whole bunch of support. You can apply for benefits. You might just continue to get benefits depending on what you had beforehand. You know, there's all sorts of stuff that basically gives you a stretch period here, so you can go ahead and just transition to another job. That's good. Thing is, that's why companies try very, very hard not to fire people. That's why they will try to lay you off or downsize you or make you take an extended leave of absence. Being fired without proper notification is actually illegal in the state of California. Yes, absolutely. Witcher 3 is an awesome game. Being fired without notification, being fired without proper severance, being fired without proper benefits. All of this is basically stuff that is not acceptable. To explain what I mean by the benefits and healthcare thing, so they actually had, a usual, typical healthcare system at Telltale, and that system was only going to be going until the end of the month, which is today. This happened last week. So they get a week of free healthcare, boop, they're gone. Let's keep adding to the pile here. These people, yes, Warren is correct, Lost Mercenary. Telltale was still hiring people as recently as 2.5 weeks ago. Actually, I guess a little over that. It's like 3 weeks ago now. And people were still, there was at least one person who had just recently moved into the region. I forget the exact name of the town, but it's the Bay Area. In order to, maybe it wasn't the Bay Area, was it? Whatever, it's California. Was actually moving there in order to move there and work there. For those of you not aware, it's actually pretty expensive to live in California. I complain about how I don't have enough money to live here. I would have like 4 roommates in a 4-bedroom apartment if I lived in California, because it's actually pretty expensive to live in California. So there's a lot of people who, you don't have a job anymore with no severance pay. Yeah. Now all this is just facts. What has been, everything else is still kind of, there's a lot of morass here. There's a lot of legality getting involved. There's a lot of misinformation. It was in the Bay Area, I was right. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a whole lot of stuff just tying around, and that's why I wanted to do the dividing line here. That and previous, that's all fact. We can all definitively prove everything I just said. At this point on, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. As Valerian says, you can literally make a 6-figure paycheck and live paycheck to paycheck. Ugh. Oh my god. So obviously, so what is severance pay? Severance pay, there's 2 forms severance pay takes. The first is stuff that's built into your contract. Okay, we're no longer employing you. Even if we lay you off, we're going to give you this little package. It means you get X amount of money that's basically supposed to help you get to your next job. It's usually not a lot, but it is usually basically just enough to not lose your house or to not eat. It's a little buffer zone thing. Now, there's also unemployment, which is kind of an additional sort of severance pay. This unemployment varies from state to state here in the United States, so I can't speak to that in total sincerity, because I never collected unemployment in California, so I have no idea how that works. But the general idea of unemployment is based on how long you've worked at this company, that company pays something called unemployment tax. And that unemployment tax goes into a fund at the state level, and then once you prove, and you have to prove that you were fired under the correct circumstances and that you apply, you go to the state and they give you unemployment. It usually lasts you anywhere from 3 to 6 months at like half the pay you were making. It's again, it's something to help you segue into your next job. So that's severance. If I had the money, Chocolate Rob, no joke, if Bellhammer Industries was already in place, a lot of people would have just gotten hired, I tell you what. So, let's enter the realm of speculation. So, a lot of companies, somewhere on the round of like 50 companies, have all reached out saying, yeah, we're hiring. Now, near as I can tell, and this is why this isn't the juxtaposition area, near as I can tell, some of these companies are doing this because what just happened is garbage. Like, what just happened is morally unacceptable, never mind legally unacceptable, and so they want to reach out to these people and help take care of them. Now, I guarantee you Ubisoft is one of those. For all of the really weird and awful stuff Ubisoft does, their management team gives a crap. It's strange. It's kind of strange, but it's been proven true many times. So I'm pretty sure Ubisoft actually does give a damn and is legitimately reaching out to these people. There's a few other companies, there's quite a few other companies who are reaching out. Again, how many of these are just getting on the bandwagon for press, and how many of these are legitimate? Not sure. The only one I'm willing to vouch for is Ubisoft. So that's awesome. I really, really hope these people get new jobs, and I hope they get new jobs now. You know? I really do. There is some legitimately awesome and talented people at Telltale that I very much hope that they get some more things. And no, I've done Witcher 3 gameplay in the past, but not anytime soon. Now, why this happened is something that's not quite debatable so much as the method by which it happened is the debatable thing. Telltale was not doing well financially and has not been doing well financially for the better part of 2 years. This is not new. That sucks, in my opinion. I'm going to segue and branch out for just a second because I like Telltale games. Consistently. My least favorite Telltale game to date, it was actually probably Back to the Future, but after that would be Guardians of the Galaxy. And even that, you know, there was like one episode which was just flat bad, and then the other ones were either good or acceptable. You know, I still enjoyed it. I still went through it. I'm with it, yeah! And yet apparently they were just completely financially bombing. Two of the ones that were called out specifically are the 2 Batman games they pushed out. Batman Season 1 and 2 are both awful. Now, the Walking Dead Season 1 made a tremendous amount of money. Some other games have sold, you know, have made it into the black. Funnily enough, Tales from the Borderlands is one of those. My personal favorite. No, I liked Back to the Future. It's just old and has issues. So it's kind of usually at the bottom of my list of Telltale games. Still good. The biggest problems here, I mean, there's so many things that could be analyzed for their financial model. But no matter how you look at it, the problem is people just were not buying Telltale games in the amounts necessary to support the amount of expansion they were trying to push out. That is a management problem, and that is something that should have been acknowledged. It still sucks because, as I think I just made my opinion clear, they were all good games. Good games that didn't sell well. And it always just kind of privately bothers me in a way I don't know how to describe when a good game or a good movie or a good show or whatever doesn't sell well. You know? Earthbound. This is not anything new. And in case you don't get what I mean, Earthbound financially bombed here in the States, which is hysterical given how amazing that game is. But anyways, moving on. Now, having gotten through all that, one of the biggest things I've been hearing news article people just ranting about is, well, it's clearly the problem is that they just didn't do anything new. Now, I want to smack those people in the face until the blood stops coming out, but disregarding that, I'm trying to think how to properly phrase this. There's a difference between we found a formula that worked for us and doing the same thing over and over. Each Telltale game had its own little approach, its own little style, its own gimmicks. They actually started branching out as far as gameplay in each of them. I'm sure most people don't actually know that, because most people apparently didn't actually play them, but I did! I have played basically every Telltale game on stream. And they did a lot of stuff that varied out the tone, varied out the story. Yes, there was also blaming of Let's Players, which is funny, because that would make me also a problem here. Yeah, exactly, Rax. I mean, the whole purpose was the interactive storytelling thing, which they did a good job of. Oh, that's another one. Maybe if they introduced choices actually mattering, then the games would have sold better. Now, see, the thing about that complaint is that it's actually stupid. Now, I'm going to clarify that, because I want to make that my opinion here very clear. Now, Detroit Become Human is a game where choices matter. I can point to that. Detroit Become Human is also a game that took years and years to make. Because that's what it takes in order to make that kind of game. There are only two options when it comes to making choices matter. Boil down the game to the point where it's a text adventure, or take a lot of time developing it. One of those two directions. That's it. That's just life. That's just time. Until we invent a time machine, that's it. And yeah, Detroit Become Human was also very expensive to make. So, I'm sorry, when I say time, I should clarify, that's time and money. It's budget. Budget applies to both time and money. And time also means money, so yeah. Anyways. So... you see how we kind of have a problem here. Now, Hans Yolo says that saturation is an issue. I can't actually speak to that. I really can't, because saturation doesn't affect me. I don't get bored of something that's still good. So I can't speak to that. If you came up with 5 Star Wars movies next year, I'd be like, sweet! I know that's not everyone's reaction, but I just don't think that way, so I can't comment on that. So, I'm just going to leave my hands off on that topic. One of the really quick thing, I just want to comment, this is kind of an aside note before I continue back to my main point. Is that this whole Telltale thing fills me with fear. Thank you very, very much, Lofit. As ever, much appreciate those Twitch Prime subs. Uh-oh! And double fear. Thank you again very, very much, Lost Mercenary. Although I know you hate my show, I still appreciate those Twitch Prime subs. Thank you very, very much. Would both of you like to put that towards anything? We're going to keep saying it until it becomes normal. It's just, that's how it's going to go. That's how it's going to go. Oh, I know, Adam. If Telltale had the resources of Quantic Dream, that would be amazing. The side note... Oh, my God. Well, we're definitely being filled with some triple fear. Thank you very, very much. I'm trying to figure out if that's an S or a 5. I think it's a 5, so thank you very much, Rocky 5 Year. Much appreciate those Twitch Prime subs. Would you like to put that towards anything? Also, if I don't respond to you putting it towards something, it's because I missed it in chat. Chat's going a little quickly right now. We have a lot of people on right now. So just repeat yourself. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. So, oh my God, I knew it, Isermaster. You hate me! So, what was I talking about? God, I actually lost my track. I remember my original point, but I was going to branch out to something really quick. Telltale, right. Tales of the Borderlands. Now, I've said many, many, many times, Tales from the Borderlands is my favorite Telltale game. That is still true. That has remained true. It is, in my opinion, the quintessential Telltale experience. They did so much awesome with that game. And it fit the visual style. The voice acting was top-notch. The writing was top-notch. Some of your choices actually legitimately changed and varied the way the story would go and the way the characters react and would change your ending. And it altered the setting. It was a game changer. It actually mattered for Borderlands. It was awesome. It's my favorite Tales from the Borderlands. It's my favorite Telltale game by far. What I find kind of cool is that... Oh, I did miss that Meat Fist. You are correct. I did miss that. I will put that down right here. FF9 in depth. You got it. I agree. I think Tales from the Borderlands is better than the Borderlands games. Now, I do like the Borderlands games, but that is still my opinion. I really, I kept waiting and hoping and praying for a Tales of 2, and every time it was brought up, they brought it up at basically every convention. Every year, they would bring it up, and the response was always the same. Nope, we're not doing it. Nope, we're not doing it. Now, you got it, Lost Mercenary. I'll jot you down for that as well. Lost Mercenary 99. There we go. Now, the thing that I thought was kind of cool was the fact that, yeah, exactly, Mike, was that as I've been seeing, so I've been seeing a lot of people comment on the Telltale thing. A lot of people have been commenting on 2 Telltale games as their personal favorites and the ones that really helped sell the Telltale thing. And one of them's Tales from the Borderlands. The other one's Walking Dead Season 1, of course. I mean, duh, that is also an amazing game. But Tales from the Borderlands is the other one. It actually just was kind of heartwarming to see so many people acknowledge the amazingness of that game. So, woo! But of course, people are saying other things in chat, like Wolf Among Us. See, that's kind of my point, ain't it? They were good games. I mean, not all of them are fantastic, but... right? Let's get back to my point. Anything on the website, Rocky 5 here, you could put it towards... I guess it's Rocky Fiver? Rockies-er? How do you want that said? Anyways, you could anything on the website. If you look down on the left side of the website, there's a whole bunch of stuff there that you can put it towards. And yeah, I actually was one of those weirdos who really liked Minecraft Season 1. I loved Minecraft Season 2. Like, I thought that went up in quality. That was great. It was terrifying. It was one of the most incredibly dark, brilliantly written stories I've seen in a long time. It was really great. And yeah, Batman Season 1 did a lot of very brave and very interesting things with the setting. And Season 2 made an amazing relationship between John Doe and Bruce. I had to think about that for a second. Yes, I have, Max Time. I've also seen the other statement about the final season. And the other statement about the final season. We'll get to that. It was, Kaiser. That prison in Minecraft Season 2 was terrifying. God, that was messed up. Ugh. Anyways. So, I want to add something here really quick here. Just as another quick aside before I get back to the episodic thing, which I want to talk about next. I obviously purchased Walking Dead Season 4. Duh. Right? I mean, that was just such a duh. Telltale games are literally auto-buys for me and have been for years at this point. The option was being given through Valve, specifically through Steam, to get refunds on that because of this news. I've decided not to do that. Now, I know that this doesn't change anything. I know practically this doesn't affect anything. Nobody who needs that money is going to get that money, and it's going to make no difference whatsoever. But I kind of want to keep my little piece of the end of Telltale, you know what I mean? Especially since Episode 2 has gone live by this point. I want to keep my little portion of that. I haven't decided what we're going to do. I kind of want to do a stream of that. And by kind of want to do, I mean, I'm absolutely going to do some kind of Telltale stream. I just haven't decided the format yet. We'll see what happens on that. But that brings us to our next point. So, what the hell's going on? Obviously, Wolf Among Us Season 2 is just gone. Like, that's... The odds of that being salvaged in any way are practically zero. The only way that's going to be salvaged is if THQ Nordic, who is another company... Actually, I just take that back. I can vouch for THQ Nordic as well as I can vouch for Ubisoft, because THQ Nordic is awesome. If THQ Nordic or Ubisoft pick up Telltale's people and then do Wolf Among Us Season 2... then that might happen. That's actually a possibility. Otherwise, it's not happening, so that's gone. But they were in the progress when it comes to Walking Dead Season 4. And so the first thing they said was, it's cut, it's done. We're not doing it, it's over. Which sucked. The next thing they said was, we'll be seeking outside revenue in order to fund the rest of Season 4. Which is scummy, to say that in the nicest way I possibly can. Because they were seeking funding not to pay their employees or give them severance or do anything, right. They were just going to try and finish this game. Now they're looking into... now they're looking into basically outsourcing it. Everything I've seen so far is that, given that Telltale is self-destructing to such a severe extent, that they don't even care about things like rights or ownership or issues anymore. They might literally just hand off their literal papers and data and files on Walking Dead Season 4 to another company, and the other company then actually makes it. Now, normally that would be completely unheard of, that a company just basically gives away that kind of internal proprietary information. But again, the propriety part of that doesn't matter anymore. Telltale Games is shutting down in such a hard manner that there will be no Telltale within a couple of months. Like, they're gone. They're going through full bankruptcy thing, but that might not even go through. They might have, I can't remember the term because it happens so rarely, but there's a term when a company just ceases. When it just ceases to exist. It gets delisted, it gets pulled from the Better Business Bureau, it's gone. So normally this kind of thing would never happen. But with what's happening with Telltale, that does appear to be a possibility. Note, we are still in the speculative range. There's a reason I made that delineation earlier. We're still not sure what's going on with this. I just took a drink. Come on. Okay, one more. Well, there are some legal issues with licensings, but the licensing thing would actually be surprisingly easy to resolve, because all they would have to do is one of two things. Whoever actually owns the rights to Walking Dead, I can't remember the parent company right now, but whoever owns the rights to that could just say, okay, we transfer the license rights we'd already sold to Telltale over to you. Bam. Sign a couple of papers, shift it over, done. They could also sell the rights to those, and basically make a brand new licensing agreement with whatever new company is working on them, and say, okay, here, go ahead and make Walking Dead Season 4. Both of these are possibilities. The latter is, of course, more likely, but the former is at least possible because of the amount of PR that would get them. That would generate a fairly large amount of positive return on customer trust by saying, yeah, no, here. And it is legally available for them to do that. What they'll do, I have no idea. Let's talk about episodic gaming really quick. I've heard a lot of people decry this as the reason why episodic gaming sucks. Now, that is a true statement, but I feel it's also half of the statement, because the problem is episodic gaming is kind of like, and I hope some of you get this, invading Italy from the north in winter. I really hope some of you get that, but on the off chance you don't, Hannibal, the legendary Hannibal of Carthage, invaded Rome in the winter from the north through the mountains. Now, it did work in his case, but that's exactly the point. Episodic gaming is something that there's no subtleties, there's no variances, there's no whatevers. It either will work very well, or it will work very poorly, and there's no in between. Because it's very risky, and it's very dangerous. That's why most people don't do it. There are a lot of problems with doing episodic gaming. We're seeing one of them right now. However, if you successfully manage episodic gaming, there are actually a fairly large amount of benefits for doing so, most notably when it comes to development cycles. It also helps to maintain a degree of customer interest. It helps to maintain a continuous presence when it comes to market share. It also helps to push stock and money people in general's interest more in your favor, which is funny. It's one of the reasons why I wasn't really completely off board when it comes to Final Fantasy VII-R, because episodic gaming is a gamble. It could work very well, or it could work very badly. I can name an example of episodic gaming working very well: StarCraft 2. Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void were episodic gaming. They didn't really posit it that way, but that is what it is. Boom, 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 and there you go. And with that production cycle, they were able to push out StarCraft 2, stretch it out more, spend more time on polishing, basically made a better product. Those are the benefits of episodic gaming. Now, lol, Revenstig. Well, that's a separate debate, Meadfist. The point was the idea to travel north through the Alps was an insane idea that happened to work. Now, the quality of individual episodes when it comes to Telltale is a debatable quantity, and I'm not going to get into that in specific. Yeah, it didn't work for Half-Life, that's true. Although, to this day, we don't know the 100% no really reason why Half-Life 2 Episode 3 never really came into fruition. There's a lot of conflicting things here. You got it, Rocky 5R. Hope I'm saying that right this time. Rocky 5R. Hitman 2. There we go. Bam. Done. Yeah, no, Trickster. I haven't tested it myself yet. It's the only reason I haven't taken off the premium run list. Or the rating list. I just wanted to mention that. I don't have actually anything else to say about that. I just wanted to mention that because everyone's been screaming about the negative aspects of episodic gaming without any moderation, without acknowledging the positive aspects of episodic gaming. I just wanted to toss another voice into that mess really quick. Now, I want to mention one other thing, because this is something that several people have brought up. Some people have actually asked me this directly. They've asked, what's going on? Like, so we kind of mentioned this earlier, but what Telltale did was immensely illegal. At a state level, definitively and provably. Like, this is literally an open and shut case as far as the state level. Might actually be at a federal level too. That's more debatable, but nevertheless, I mean, I don't think it's on the list, Cool Walker. But the point is, what they have did was extremely illegal. Catch here is that may or may not matter. I know that sounds like a strange statement, but thanks to the nature of legality in corporations, the corporation of Telltale would be the one responsible for this blame. They would be the ones... In fact, if you look at the actual lawsuit... I actually can't remember. There's a suit going on right now from one of the employees towards Telltale, and it is v. Telltale, not v. Manager Bob, or Executive Dude. I mention that because class action. Thank you. That's the term I was trying to think of. There's a class action going on right now. I mentioned that because that means the company itself is going to get destroyed. The amount of that will affect the actual people who made that decision is a lot more debatable. There's a reason it's v. Telltale, not v. Manager. And I know that sounds like such a dumb thing to mention, but legally the difference matters a lot. And that's actually one of the single biggest reasons why corporations exist as a concept. Because the whole point of a corporation is all of the blame, all of the debt, all of the hassles, all of that is on the corporation, which itself is detached from the individuals actually making the decisions. So this class action lawsuit may not matter at all. In fact, to be completely blunt, since they are specifically suing for money, the odds that they'll get anything out of this is practically zero. So... I just wanted to mention this very quickly, because people are like, oh, they're screwed, they're screwed. Telltale's going away, guys. I just mentioned that. The company is self-destructing. We'll see, we'll see. I actually don't have much else to say about it. It sucks, obviously. I mean, that's just a duh. This whole thing sucks. If nothing else, the fallout that this is hitting on the individual people who are, by all accounts, good writers, good voice actors, good directors, good, all that stuff. The actual developers, this sucks that they have to go through this because of what is effectively bad management practice. It's kind of like we were talking about during Spider-Man on the PS4. I mean, if Parker just had a financier, he'd be fine. Hire me! Anyways. One moment. I need to respond to Lore Mom. She's up early. What are you doing up so early, Mom? Give me just a second. Sorry, guys. Why are you waking up so early? Exclamation mark. Well, at least you get to read more today, period. I hope you enjoy. Comma. Still going through the Vorkorsigan stuff? It has no idea what to do with that word. I'm not even trying to spell it. She loves the Vorkorsigan stuff. Bonus points if you know what I'm talking about. Louis McPatrick Bajold, good author. Anyways, so let's talk about. This is the wrong text file. I have so many windows up right now. Let's talk about a couple things really quick, and then we're going to talk about something really long. I hope you're okay with that. If you're not, you're on the wrong show. So first thing I want to mention is the Captain Marvel trailer. Now, I want to say I've actually been asked my questions about this many times, but in summary, sorry, there's also no PSX. In summary, that's the news about that. The I thought it was a really boring trailer overall. Like, it was just okay. And now, for the most part, like 90% of the trailer was just okay. Now, I'm not going to say it was a bad trailer. That's why I use my terminology very specifically here. I've seen a lot of bad trailers in my time. In fact, I'm going to be talking about another one in just a second here. But it's like, okay, superhero, cool stuff, explosions, shot, clench, glare, and then, yeah, okay, that's great. Whatever. I don't care that much. I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm already sold. Me and my friends and my family are already sold on this film, so I guess I'm not really the target audience of this trailer, but it's just, okay. I was not impressed with the first trailer. Except for two things. They did two things very, very right. First thing they did, right at the very beginning, blockbuster. I cannot put into words how perfect that was. Because, and I'm going to address the second thing. I'm going to discuss why both of these were perfect. So, the second thing is her punching the old woman. Slugging that. That was perfect. I'm going to wait to see if any of my viewers are, let's call this uninformed enough to not understand why that's awesome. I want to talk about why both of these things were good, though. Because the main point here is that this is a trailer built for fans. Now, if that doesn't sound strange, let me take a few... I know, Frozen. Let me take a few steps back here. Obviously, a lot of these films are made for their fan base. The general approach is usually... we want about 80% of existing fans, and we want to try and get about 20% of other people who might be interested in something actiony or something whatever. Marketing departments, especially in Hollywood, will then, therefore, spend all of their time and effort marketing to the 20%. Make sense? Because their general idea has always been the 80% are sold. So we need to focus on trying to get as many other people as involved. This is one of the many reasons why movie trailers are kind of crap and have been for years. Is because they're marketing it for people who aren't actually already interested in the film. No, she's a Skrull, Adam. She's a Skrull! But the fact... so, this has been the norm for forever. I mean, if you ever go back and watch any of the trailers for any of the MCU movies, basically all of them have this exact same problem. One of the only... teasers, and I have to say that because it was a teaser, not a trailer, that's ever been specifically focused on fans, was the Age of Ultron teaser. Some of you may remember that one. That was clearly built for people who knew what was going on, got the references, and it was designed for people who were already on board. And it was awesome, I might add. Oh god, that would be funny, Inquisitor. Anyways, the relevance here, though, is... the movies themselves have always been made with an eye towards appealing to fans of the franchise. That's not just true with the MCU, that's true in general. But it is very rare that you can specifically go out and convince the marketing department and the trailer makers. Remember, the people who make trailers are not the people who make the films. Two completely separate departments. Sometimes not even in the same studio. But the fact that they were able to convince this separate studio... or separate department, in order to do this trailer, specifically in at least two demonstrable ways that was designed for fans, is significant. It's rare that that sort of thing happens. It's rare that they have that degree... yeah, trailer houses, thank you. I couldn't think of the term. It's rare that they have that much confidence and the ability to influence the trailer houses. The ability to actually convince the trailer people to make the trailer in a creative way rather than in a financial way. Because that's what this trailer was. Despite the boringness and despite the complaints, this was a trailer designed to make a creative statement for fans of the series. They didn't explain the punch. We all know that's a Skrull, or someone she thinks is a Skrull. We all know that. We got that instantly. We know that this is set in the 90s because of the blockbuster thing. And I could argue they've also did some things with Samuel L. Jackson in the same way. We know where they're going with this. We know who Coulson is. They don't have to explain that, right? Let me use a slightly example of what I'm talking about here. When Amazing Spider-Man 2's trailers were coming out, one of the some of the most terrible trailers ever, by the way. But when you're watching those trailers, every character who's introduced makes a point of introducing themselves, saying their name or having another character say their name, usually in some kind of weird, like, super fast edit cut, because everything needs to be high-paced in a trailer, right? They did that. They introduced them all as if you've never heard of Spider-Man before, because that's what they were marketing for. But they never name-drop Coulson. He was just there, because And Coulson is such a popular character amongst fans that we recognized him instantly. Some other person who's never ever heard this would look at Coulson and like, ooh, it's just some guy in a suit. They have no idea who that person is, right? Oh, wait, I think he was in Avengers, wasn't he? So, that's the thing I really want to talk about with regards to that trailer. As much as there are issues with the trailer, because I do think it was a boring trailer, I am still thinking this is, as weird as this may sound, a step in the right direction. I would rather have a boring trailer designed for us than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer, which was designed for idiots. I'm just going to say that as bluntly as I can. And I don't mean that as an insult, by the way, because there is actually the argument, I forget the exact naming of the law, but it's the idea that you always need to market to the stupidest person in your audience. That's an actual marketing law, which I've never agreed with. So, yeah, no kidding, Lost Mercenary. The worst trailer to date is still what was it? The last Terminator movie, the most recent one. Literally spoiling the big reveal at like the 3/4 mark in the trailer. That's still the worst trailer I've ever seen. Anyways, yeah, no kidding, easy game. So I have another trailer to talk about really quick. Dark Phoenix. Hang on. Okay, I'm okay. It's a bad trailer. It's a bad trailer. It's a very bad trailer. So let's rewind a few seconds here. So for those of you not aware, they're making a Dark Phoenix movie. Now, I already think this is a mistake. Let's just start. I already think that's a bad direction to go for. Oh, I'm sorry, Max Time. I didn't even see it. Could you repeat it, please? I already think making Dark Phoenix a movie is actually a bad idea. I really do. The fact that they're repeating the same story beats from Last Stand is a horrifically bad idea. For those of you not aware, Last Stand, in addition to being disgustingly awful from a creative perspective, also financially bombed. It's the reason the X-Men franchise was put on ice. It was because Last Stand just tanked. See you around, Cool Walker. I keep going over here. And I'm also filled with fear because of Mega DA. Great. I never know how to say that name. Thank you very, very much. What would you like to put that towards? Oh, I think the de-aging CGI was good next time. We'll have to see what it looks like in the actual film, but I do think it looked good in the trailer, so I'm with it. I mean, Lord knows we already have aging CGI. They did it in Logan. So... oh, hang on. We all need to kill Savicom. We all need to kill Savicom. Stab, Lord, stab. Okay, now that's funny you say that, Savicom, and I mean this legitimately. Because I've talked about this before on my stream and with my friends, and I just brought this up yesterday. One of the things I like to say, I have a saying, it's called black licorice, and the point of the saying is that even something that is literally vomitous to you is something that other people like. It's an intellectual understanding, basically. So, intellectually, yeah, I could get that there are some people that like Last Stand. You're the first I've ever seen Savicom, and I mean that with total sincerity. I've never heard someone who likes Last Stand before. I am surprised, in all honesty. I get it, black licorice, but I am surprised. Because when I brought this up before, and when I brought this up yesterday, nobody liked it. Nobody was the person, you know, I usually have at least one or two people who are like, yeah, no, I like Spider-Man 3, you know, or I enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man 1, you know. Nobody liked Last Stand. Now, not trying to single you out, I just think it's interesting. Hey, I like Power Rangers, this song. I still have it memorized to this day. Last Stand was let me rewind a bit. I think I can say objectively speaking, I think these are the only thing I can say objectively about Last Stand's quality. It was not a good part of the X-Men franchise. Any individual personal preference towards liking the film as its own work can work or not work depending on individual preference, black licorice, etc. But Last Stand, in many, many ways, did not fit with X-Men 1 or X-Men 2. Demonstrably. Provably. You know, just... What? You know, characters acting in completely new and different ways, with no impetus or no change. The introduction of some new characters out of nowhere for no purpose or reason, the complete removal of characters for stupid reasons, the torpedoing of the original script, which was actually designed to directly tie into X-Men 2, all sorts of stuff there. There are issues there. And of course, it financially bombed. So naturally, we're going to make a new Dark Phoenix film, which is made by the same guy. Now, okay, to be more clear, the guy who co-wrote Last Stand is the director, producer, and writer of Dark Phoenix. So they took the guy who helped write Last Stand and decided, yes, thank you, Tazara, you're actually correct. And they decided to take him and say, you know what? Most people hate your film. No offense to anybody who likes it. Most people hate your film. And it financially bombed, which is, of course, the only thing the money people care about. So we're going to give you the reins to this new film. Yeah, no, I can't think of any reason to justify that. Because even if they wanted a financial flop, which there are actually reasons to want a financial flop, there are better ways to do that. Usually, if you're going to have a financial flop, you are going to go ahead and put people who... Okay, no, I just came up with a reason. Maybe this guy is connected. Because if you're doing a deliberate financial flop, what you want to do is you want to spend the money on people who are connected to you, your friends or your family members, you know, nepotism at its worst. And then you put them in charge. You say, okay, make the film, and you know it's going to be crap, but you don't care because it's a tax write-off. Now, that I'm speaking in generics, but this is true. This is a real thing that happens. Deliberately making terrible films or terrible games or whatever to pull down profits to help with taxes. It's a very, very common practice. So that's the only reason I can come up with for what they're doing here. This is not going to be a good film. At least financially. I mean, there's just so much negative momentum going against this film. There's just so much pushing away from it that it's not going to be a financial success. Now, that's why I had to clarify myself. It may actually be a good film. I doubt it. But it may actually be a good film. Yui Boll. Yeah, he did that too, Ventures. Yeah, no, see, I used to be afraid that I practiced nepotism, but it turns out I don't. Because nepotism is specifically the positioning of people you know or care about without regard to skill. And that last part is important. I will absolutely position people who I know or care about with regard to skill, because I happen to know they're good at such and such, which is not actually nepotism. But anyways, bad nepotism, which is just, hey Rax, here, you're now manager of My Little Pony. I'm going to hand the reins over the entire franchise to you, a person who is, no offense, completely unqualified for being in charge of this franchise. What about Kingdom Hearts, he says. Well, I'm giving that to... Oh, God, who doesn't care about Kingdom Hearts? I'm not sure I can come up with someone like that. Even my niece likes Kingdom Hearts. Or Kingdom of Hearts, as she insists on calling it. Because that's proper grammar. Anyways, but no, in all seriousness, I don't know what else to say about this. They're rehashing the same thing. The idea that Jean Grey is just a latently super omega mutant out of nowhere. And that she is actually Phoenix, or rather that the Dark Phoenix is just her alternate persona, and that she's super powerful. And Magneto has had a whole character arc, and he's played by Michael Fassbender, and I'm just going to say, Michael Fassbender's amazing. Like, I really do like his acting a lot. I have enjoyed him in bad films. Assassin's Creed, excuse me. So, he has done some great stuff with Magneto over the years. But they've done this whole arc with him. They finally turned him into someone who's redeemed and gotten back on the good side, which I admittedly didn't like, but they did it. And now he's back to being a bad guy for no reason, because he's Magneto. He's got to be a bad guy, right? I mean, how could you possibly make Magneto a good guy? That would be insanity. Age of Apocalypse, excuse me. So we've got not Magneto, not the Phoenix. I'm not going to go over details. I'm not going to go list by list. I thought about it. I don't care. I don't care enough to do it. It's crap. It's all crap. Now, unfortunately, I have to do something weird. So we do have one more trailer to discuss. So what I'm going to do, I actually have to go to the bathroom so badly it hurts. I know, TMI. But I need to go to the bathroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute someone over here who's actually been with me this whole time and put him on camera while I'm not at the camera. This is how much I trust him. You can tell I trust him. Whoops, that's Kafka. That's not him. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're on audio.
Okay.
I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Guys.
Oh, I don't want My Little Pony, Jesus Christ. So I don't know if my green screen is going to be screwing up because I've got a light that burned out while you were talking.
Oh, goody. Well, it looks okay-ish. Like, you could tell there's a little bit of something on the stars there. That's acceptable. I can live with that. Okay. I mean, I don't need this level of stuff.
That thing with the microphone that you and I were talking about, still happening, very infrequent. So for those of you in the chat, if I suddenly go quiet, I will notice it and I will remedy it, but that might be a concern.
Well, regardless, I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
So one thing that I wanted to bring up, just in brief, those of you who care at all about JRPGs probably heard about Nobuo Uematsu. He is taking the rest of 2017 off. No Distant Worlds concerts, no composing, nothing like that. Basically, he's come down with a really bad sickness. And I, for one, am really worried for his health. So, yeah, I just want to say, screw the concept of overworking, and yeah, the man's only 59, and look how old he looks. Of course, it doesn't help that he smokes. Did I say 2019? I meant 2018. Thank you, guys. No, he's not taking a whole year off. He's just taking a few months. Yeah, there is just a lot wrong with that situation. And I'm going to say that the way that... Oh, I said 2017. Oh, my gosh. God, my brain is not here right now. It's over already analyzing that Kingdom Hearts trailer. Yeah, he's 59. He looks like he's in his 60s, almost 70s. But yeah, the Japanese work ethic is something I have railed against forever. It's affecting Tetsuya Nomura too. Like when I was at the KH3 premiere event back in May, I found out Nomura smokes. Not a big surprise to me because how many games is he working on? I wouldn't be surprised if 1 in 5 Japanese people of working age smoke because of that. I'm probably overestimating, but who knows? The work ethic, the only thing worse than their work ethic is their schools. I wouldn't know. I'm not that into the Japanese education system, so yeah. It's got to be better now than around FF7 to FF10 time. I will not deny that. He's working on a lot less. Currently, the only thing I know that he's working on, this is all I know about, is he's doing the FF14 theme songs for each expansion, which 5.0's theme song might be a little bit in peril because of this, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I'm not worried about because who knows how long that game's going to take. Which is my favorite pony? No, Chocolate Rob, no. Yeah. You think he won't do 5.0's theme for FF14? I mean, Masayoshi Soken, the composer for 14, has proven himself capable enough to probably do the theme song. So if Uematsu happens to not be able to, I mean, okay. I just hope that Uematsu comes out of this I don't want to say alive because I don't want to be so sardonic, but honestly, yeah. I'm really worried about him. I gotta say, fear. I'm lore now. No, I don't. I'll do the hand thing. Yeah, I do think Uematsu should rest. I mean, even if he hasn't been working all that hard over the past few years, he's still, he travels a lot for Distant Worlds concerts. He does FF14 stuff. He's earned a rest, He needs to take some time and focus on his health, in my opinion. Say fear in my best pony voice. No. Lore got raxed. It's the yellow hair. I mean, maybe. Yeah, he deserves quite a bit of. I mean, even disregarding the Japanese work ethic, the man has composed Final Fantasies 1 through 9, a bit of 10, a bit of 11, I think, and then some of 14. In addition to Chrono Trigger, just a ton of games. He deserves a lot of rest, in my opinion.
The worst part is he's already done this once after FF9.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
Also, Discord's a Draconequus, not a pony.
Yeah. Discord cannot be my favorite pony by default.
So, funnily enough, Sony Discman, first of all, thank you. As ever, much appreciated. What would you like to put that towards? Second of all, some people are probably wondering why I didn't bring up the Uematsu thing. I was going to bring it up first with him, because I figured he'd have something to say about it. Apparently, he already has said his piece on that, based on what I was reading in chat. I don't have much else to add. I mean, the man's amazing and filled with fear. Give me a fear. Come on, just one.
No.
Come on.
I'm a spoil sport. No.
I just want to hear how deep you...
You can get your voice.
I can't.
Thank you very, very much, Sage Fox. As ever, much appreciated. What would you like to put that towards? I need to make an emote. It's just called, what do you want to put that towards? Spam it every time it happens. Instead of the fear emote. Spam that instead of the fear emote. Yeah, I mean, Nobuo Uematsu is someone who literally taught me music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't the first time I discovered I liked music. That was actually Mega Man 2. But as I've talked about before in my Final Fantasy lore runs, and I think in the Ruminations, I literally had a micro recorder, and I would hold it up to the TV and record Final Fantasy IV's soundtrack. And I would listen to it, not just because I liked it, because I was analyzing it in my head. And it had a slowdown feature. So I would slow down the songs, and I would listen to how they worked, and the patterns of the melody, and the harmony, and the concepts of counterpoint, and all this fun stuff. And I was actually learning how music worked because of him. Yeah.
Personally, Uematsu is one of my two favorite composers of all time. While I didn't really learn music from him, he has influenced my musical tastes more than any other person in existence, I would say.
You're funny, Easel. Yeah, smartphones, hell, mobile phones didn't exist when I was doing this.
Yep.
We had just started doing car phones when I was doing this, which were awful. Anyways, yeah. So now, Chocolate Rob brings up another thing, and I hate to say this, but I hope he doesn't die.
Yeah.
We have lost a lot of celebrities, but good people. You know, we lost Leonard Nimoy. We lost... I can't think of anyone's names now, of course. We lost Saruman.
Yeah. Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee, thank you. God, and we lost Cerberus Snape. I can't think of anyone's names right now.
Alan Rickman.
We lost Alan Rickman. We lost we lost Carrie Fisher. You know, I mean, we lost Steve Hopkins. We've lost a lot of people in the last couple of years, and it's going to continue happening. I mean, we do need to acknowledge that this is going to continue happening. Yeah, we lost David Bowie. This is because we're getting that point where a lot of the people who were big or popular, awesome within that. Yeah, we lost Iwata. Ugh, that one actually probably hurts more than the others, if I'm being completely honest. Iwata was a great guy. So, I hope we don't lose Amatsu, and if we do, God almighty, I hope he enjoys his last time, you know? Just comfort, happiness, go. You have earned it. You're amazing. Go enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's right, we lost Terry Pratchett. Oh. Anyways, the other thing I want to talk about, let's go ahead and mute the music for this one, because I do actually have something here, is we've got this thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
So there's this thing that happened. It's called the Tokyo Game Show. I don't know what it is.
I don't either. Whoops. I don't actually follow video games all that much.
Yeah.
I think Tokyo is somewhere in France. And I guess the game show, is that like for like
it's like, I guess it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. I was gonna go with an older one, but yeah, that's actually Wheel of Fortune, right?
Millionaire's not really new.
I guess oh god, you're right.
In the 90s.
I was gonna go with something much older than that.
Fair enough.
The last time I watched, game shows was in the 80s, so anyways. Point being, Tokyo Game Show had a thing, and it's not going to happen, Easel. It's not going to happen. No, I'm kidding. What I'm actually going to do...
For those of you who wanted me to analyze the Kingdom Hearts trailer, all like 20 of you, because I know a lot of you did, I'm not analyzing the Kingdom Hearts trailer.
Nope.
I'm analyzing the goddamn Kingdom Hearts media blowout we got. We got 2 trailers, a gameplay video, box art.
I just realized we need to redo something here. So, I apologize, I didn't have this set up. What is this? Why is Yakuza 0 there? Oh, well, whatever. I don't know why that's there. I suppose it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Come on. I really don't like OBS Studio sometimes. There we go. Oh my god! There we go. Okay, so we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And we're going to have this. Now, this has been put together by some random dude. I don't know his name. Bob, I want to say? Something like that. So, this is going to be muted. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right out. There is no way in hell or heaven above I could play this with the sound on.
Yeah.
That's not happening. If you want to know what the sound is, it's dialogue in Japanese, and it's music that is super copyrighted. So...
Although the Big Hero 6, what I'm assuming is the battle theme, is actually pretty good, and it's in the second trailer. You should go listen to it.
Right here, I think. Yeah, this is it, right here. So that's at about... Let me get a timestamp. Okay, so at about 2:10, I'll go ahead and unmute it. And that way you can hear it. So, back to the beginning. Boop. We're back at Mute Town. The light is gathering together, hearts driven by one oath and one purpose. Now, first of all, I love this. The final game will feature text and audio in the English language. I find amusing that they feel the need to say that.
Well, because all the text. And
I know. It's just, again, really? But what I want to say very quickly here, and please feel free to jump in at any time, by the way, Rex. You know my methods. I love the detail, and I just want to show you a couple stills here really quick. Obviously, these are cartoony cars, and but we've got a decent amount of terrain is actually rendered here. We've actually got 3-dimensional objects with the ropes. We've got the styling on the San Francisco bridge. I forget what they actually call it in the film. It's not the Golden Gate. It's the something.
I've seen Big Hero 6 once. I can't remember if they actually named it.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But anyways, point being, huge attention to detail. I mean, look at the hair on Hero here, for example. Just to use a direct example of, you could see there's a strand there, and then there's another strand there, and there's another strand there. And this is a little blurry. Ah, damn it. Let me go back just a little bit here. His hair actually animates too, by the way.
Mhm.
This is another example of detail, just again showcasing really quick the sheer amount of how much they're putting into this. Really, really impressed by this. So let's go ahead and rewind a bit. Back to the beginning. Yeah, it really does look like a Pixar film. So Heartless, oh my god. And we got this Keyblade. I'm not sure if I like this Keyblade or not. I was curious what you thought of this thing.
Well, see, I'm of two minds because from an aesthetics perspective, I don't really care for it.
Yeah.
From a gameplay perspective, I'm actually really interested in it because it seems to be pulling abilities from the various other Keyblades, whether it's doing so randomly or whether you can actually customize your combos. I'm not sure, but it's definitely an end game Keyblade if I ever saw one.
It does sound like one, yeah, I agree. Although, if what I'm hearing is true, and I have no idea if this is true or not, any Keyblade can become an endgame Keyblade, which we'll see where they go with that one. So, real quick thing, again, just kind of pointing out details that other people might have missed or whatever, because it's kind of my shtick. In a second. Yes, I'm Hero. Hi, that's nice. Nobody cares about you, Hero. So, Skate Lady. We've got him. We've got her. We actually see that she's using her chemical compounds thing right there. And we also see the beast guy whose name I can't think of either. I can't think of any of their names. The other thing I want to point out though really quick is that each of they're obviously using the macrobots thing, which is actually a stupid idea. But regardless, they're using the macrobots thing as the main objective here. But what I find interesting is each of these are differently colored in these cutscenes. Whoa.
Sorry.
What I want to know is if that's relevant. The varying colors of the macrobots and whether that actually matters. Who's actually using the macrobots, if it's say in order, if it's even related, I don't know. And of course we have the whole teamwork thing going on, which is neat. Nothing much to say about the thing. I do want to talk about these guys. This is the first time we've really seen a really, really good shot of these guys, and they look really cool. So these are the Marluxia's nobodies. Give you a quick shot here in full motion.
I'm really excited to fight these things.
I am too.
They look so awesome.
They look so cool. I've always loved the extremely strange pseudo-humanistic stylings of the nobodies in general, and these look so cool. This just fits right into it. They've even got a pseudo-flower thing going in their overall motif, which fits perfectly. I love it.
I'm kind of wondering if they'll have the elastic properties of other nobodies, because if you look near the head, it almost looks like it's or glossy or like a gelatin sort of.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It looks sheeny, I guess is the word.
Yeah, it's got a sort of a sheen to it, yeah.
And I know this is going to be very quick because it only happens in less than a quarter of a second, but if you pay attention to the midsection, like the abs of the thing, you'll see it kind of bounce here. Right there, like that. So it looks like it still has the same elasticity. Real quick thing, actually, someone pointed this out, and it's a good point, and I meant to mention this, and I'm an idiot. The macrobots look a whole lot like the bugs from Recoded.
They are.
And apparently they are.
This is relevant now, by the way. I'll play this.
Recoded is a good game, in my opinion, and if you don't want to play it, just go watch my lore run of it. Seriously, it's... I really like several aspects of the story in Recoded, and it did a lot of cool things. That's all I'm going to say right now. I don't want to spoil too much, but... Wait, I want to spoil everything, so... No, I'm kidding. We got other stuff to look at. So then we get forward here. We've Monsters, Inc., blah, blah, blah. I do love the animation that they're doing here. It certainly looks better than what we were seeing in the Frozen stuff earlier in the year. Young Xehanort looks a lot better. Shading in general is a lot better on him. I don't have much to say about this section. If you have anything to add here, or previous to here, before we get to combat.
I don't have much to add, but it seems like, and this is just speculation, but it seems like with every single event that they present at, they want to show off every polishing pass they've made, because during E3 they did that. During this they've done that. During the the point where they revealed the theme song. They did that.
Mm-hmm. No,
it just seems like they're really, really trying to push, hey, this looks better than it did in 2015, guys. Please believe us.
No, you're right. I agree. And unfortunately, that's probably a necessary byproduct of the marketing of Kingdom Hearts 3 and how much interest has been and waned and disinterest and blah, blah, blah. So it makes sense that they would push for that.
Yeah.
So then we go ahead. Oh, yeah. Speaking of just really quick thing, we see basically the Keyblades for each area. This is the toy. This is a great shot, actually, of the Toy Story Keyblade right here. My favorite part is the plushie on the Keyblade, the chain. You can see a great shot of it right here. It's wonderful. Moving on. Oh, actually, I wanted to bring up one other tiny thing, and I know it's strange to point it out, but I love the details. Brick Runner. If you'll notice, the games on the right cabinet there, you can see from this angle, are not just a texture, but they're actually a mesh.
They're actually a full mesh.
Which means they're actually fully rendered in 3D, rather than just being a picture of a bookcase or whatever, which is what most games do. And even Kingdom Hearts has done many times.
By the way, some of those are actually Squaresoft games.
Yeah,
they kind of just weave that in there.
Yeah,
a little Easter egg for us.
I'll have to look at that whenever I finally play it. Speaking of which, just as a quick reminder, there will be a Kingdom Hearts poll starting probably in December. Be ready for that. Anyways, I have more to observe. I can't let you leave yet. And then we see the nano arms. And yeah, where do I even begin with this?
You can see it doing like the hyper hammer, the drill punch thing.
Whoop, 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 whoop. God, that goes by so quickly.
It's got a lot of moves from other Keyblades, which is why I think it's probably an RNG based Keyblade in terms of its combos.
No,
not sure how I feel about that for like speed running and stuff like that, but just for overall cool factor, that's pretty cool.
I also like it from a purely narrative perspective, because it would make sense that the Big Hero 6, which narratively is all about teamwork, would be the Keyblade that works with other moves. That just fits in a nice way, and I like that. One of the things I wonder is, and of course I don't think we have any information on this, please correct me if I'm wrong, we don't know anything about slotting in moves or anything like that.
Yeah, no, they haven't said anything about that.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Just the 3 Keyblade thing is all we know.
That's what I thought. Because what I'm picturing is this could either be true RNG, like you were just positing, or this could be something where, for example, you have 3 slots. Think Go-Go and FF6, right? You got the 3 slots. Which ability from other Keyblades would you like to throw into the mix? That would be really awesome. That would be super awesome. This, again, would keep with the teamwork thing. But anyways, moving on. And we can see more of the Doom special attacks here, which are awesome looking, of course. I don't actually have much else to say about this other than what Rax already pointed out. It looks amazing. I'd point out more details, but you guys are probably already sick of that. I know Max Time is. This is an attack I actually really like, the Macrobot's Shot Lock. This looks very cool.
Yeah.
But what's also interesting is if you're paying attention, and I don't know if it's just the lighting, but this actually looks different from what was happening earlier. It makes me think, and this is pure speculation, that what we are using is just the Macrobots, and what they're using is, as was pointed out, the glitches, the bug code.
The bug blocks, yeah.
So what I wonder is, what are the bug blocks doing in the real world?
That is a very good question.
Which, of course, the most obvious and easiest answer to that is we're not in the real world, but we'll see. Also, this guy's record is 20. Sorry, go ahead.
Something in the second trailer may lend to that theory, but
So we'll get there. So then, very, very quickly, this is going to go by super fast. In fact, I'm going to slow down the pace here a lot so you can see the gummies that we see, including the Ultros gummy, or whatever they call him in other translations. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. It's Ultros. What do you want from me?
They finally made everyone's favorite octopus into a gummy ship.
Gosh darn it. There we go. You can see the shot lock a little bit closer here. So yeah, we've got just what looks like a very brief glance at the gummy creator and some of the designs you can make. Now, you can always make really crazy designs with the gummy creator, but back in Kingdom Hearts 1, the UI was incredibly terrible, so it wasn't that great to work with. 2 did a lot better of a job with it, but it was also simultaneously more limiting. I am really, really curious what they're doing with this one. I wanted to tell you more about the UI because we can see it in the background, but it is so blurry that I can't make out any of that.
That's probably just background elements, and then I don't know, that's probably just hit a button to do full screen preview.
Oh, that could be
sort of thing.
Unfortunately, I just don't know, so I don't have much to comment on. Oh, actually, I do want to comment on one quick thing really quick here. I'm going to zip back just a second. I only want to point this out because this is really cool for anybody who wants to do cosmetics with their gummy ships, like me. You'll notice that the pom-pom on the Moogle here is translucent.
Yeah, it's a different texture than the fur. Yeah,
and in fact, this is actually a great example because we can see 3 distinct textures here. Your standard plastic, like all the gummy ships have, the fur, and then the translucent. That's awesome. I really hope we can really go nuts with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, obviously this shows off different textures as well, but as you can see, on most noticeably on the teeth, this is again translucent material. That's what's producing that lighting effect. And Ultros. Now, what's also interesting about Ultros, and I'm not sure how many noticed this, but the water's there.
Yeah, it seems really strange to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess they're incorporating water into the potential materials you can use.
I don't know. I mean, that's a cool idea, and in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some like Pirates of the Caribbean models, prefab models based on that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Now, sorry, just trust me when I say the water doesn't move. I've watched that little tidbit several times. It's completely static.
Yeah, it might move when the final product comes out, but for now,
yeah, the milliseconds we saw did not move.
Yeah.
Now
in development.
Yeah, exactly. Now in development. A few more months. It's actually, we're getting close, aren't we? At this point,
we are getting close. Yeah, I think they said 14 weeks. Is it 14? It's very close.
Yeah, it's about 4. It's a little over, or no, a little under 4 months, I believe.
Yeah.
I hope they don't force you to do gummy sections too, because I'm in favor of options. Having said that, I'm really looking forward to the gummy sections. This looks amazing to me. I mean, I loved the gummy sections in 2. I legit just went and played those several times. So the idea of how they're presenting this is great. As you can see, we've got the typical 3 boost. We've got our HP, weapon energy for special weapons, the same level thing in the upper right, which looks like the same metal system they had in 2. That's all speculative. We have a terrible radar on the lower left. You can see a little bit of how we can lock
Probably
on.
One of those 3D radars.
Yeah. Now, what's also interesting here, so we've already talked about how this is a lot more, for lack of a better word, open world than the typical Star Foxy stuff. Like, that's old news at this point. If you pay attention on some of these, you'll notice that there's an indicator, and I don't know what that indicator is, but it's basically, there's a thing over here, and it's pointing off the screen. Here, I'll demonstrate really quick. You can see right towards the end here, right there on the lower left, it's like, hey, there's a thing over there, and that's a very clear something that you're not currently aiming at, something behind you kind of a thing. Very curious what that actually is. Unfortunately, I just don't know, because all it says is question mark red. We can interact with the terrain, which is awesome. We can fight castles, which is awesome. There is a lock-on feature, which you just saw there. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to point out really quick here, is that for some of this, there's actually a timer. It's ticking up, though. So I think that's just a score-based thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing they just have like a time trial mode.
But yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking too, because if you pay attention, the UI here, I'll just demonstrate. We got radar, stats, and level, but when we go to a section like, wait for a moment, what looks like a boss, now we have our actual rank of B, our actual score, our timer, and how many Heartless we've killed.
Right.
So I'm thinking there's different... the way, if I was to presume, please, of course, jump in on this, Rex. If I was to presume, what I'm looking at is that we have an open space, and within this open space, there's encounters.
I think so, because they have said that the open world section and the battle section, as they've called it, are they're distinct. They're not contiguous.
Okay, so there you go. I suppose that's accurate then. I don't know if there's separate levels or things you go to, but either way.
Yeah, we have no information on that.
Obviously, multi-lock-on is a thing that was just demonstrated there. You could see, okay, now this is actually interesting. You could see several points of interest that are tiny little exclamation marks in the lower left. I think Rax is over that. Give me just a second. There you go. You can see them real quick. It's just a quick thing. I just wanted to point them out because I have a feeling that this is part of the open world explorative mechanic. Go find stuff. Go get stuff. It's also probably why he's just shooting random asteroids in this area. You can also see bits of some really cool terrain in the background. But again, details... Excuse me. So then we get to only when your hopes have been broken by battle upon battle. And then Shion shows up. Wait. I thought it was two. I'm leaving this slow-mo because this is going to zoom by very quickly in just a moment.
These are preview images of the next trailer that they showed off. Very interesting way to do a short version of a trailer. Basically have everything be exclusive to that trailer, and then the short part refers to tiny little snippets of the next trailer.
Mm-hmm. If I could be so bold, I've spoken so many times about how much I hate trailer making in general. Kingdom Hearts has bypassed that almost universally. They do good stuff. They even have a sort of a beat to it. They start off with something, and they have nice long chunks of something, usually story.
Yeah.
And then there's combat, gameplay, and then they'll show off something else, and then they'll do something either very briefly or, as we're about to see, very quickly edited, and that's the teaser. I like that format. It's a good format. So here we see the chess.
They'll be doing that again for the second trailer.
Yeah, which we'll get to. Don't worry, it's right after this. Also, having this chess set in real life would be awesome. I'd probably buy that.
I mean, it's diagonals, so.
It looks so cool. Now, one thing that I've noticed, no one else has commented on this, and that's the only reason I feel the need to bring it up. You'll notice that chess board they're on is three-dimensional. That is interesting to me because that's the sort of thing that doesn't just happen. Someone deliberately sat down and said, there needs to be chunks that are up. In case you can't see it, for example, in the lower right, the one for Dark Dude, I can't think of his name.
Vanitas.
Vanitas, thank you. The one just behind Vanitas, the black tile there is very clearly up a level. And what's interesting is that's up one level. If you look to the one right of Vanitas, that white block is up 2 levels. You can tell the height difference there.
Yeah. And
consequently, if you look up top, so obviously the Kingdom Key one there is at the very bottom level. Up top you have Xemnas and Ansem the Seeker of Darkness, which are both 1 level up. And in the middle, the one we don't quite see, which is 2 levels up. Yeah. So again, I'm curious of the significance of that other than simple visual presentation. Because you'll notice the only ones that are on tiles that are up are those 3. Everything else is at base level.
I mean, a lot of people say, oh, well, Japanese games are weird, so this is just an example of that. No, this is not done by accident. This is very deliberate. This happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So, not sure about that yet. So then we have, again, quick shots. Riku and Miku? Wow. Riku and Mickey, who are in the realm of darkness. Sora picking up the Keyblade. God, these are going by so quickly. Even in slow-mo, these are going by so quickly.
Yeah.
Luxord, who was just briefly looking up. Larxene, who looks awesome. And actually, we could see some, what's-his-face back there. This is a weird one. The fact that they showed the missing photo is actually strange to me. Like, they would specifically include that. The photo where Roxas was not present. I should be more clarifying. Ansem, of course. Seeker of Darkness. Some guy, I don't know who that is. And oh my god, it's Shion! So have we... I actually didn't follow through this on Rax. Have we since 100% clarified this is Riku?
It is a Riku.
Okay, so...
It is not the Riku. It's just a Riku.
Yeah, but the point being his physique, his model. Yeah, so Riku, and then Vanitas again, and then I don't know who these people are. And then I don't know what's going on with this, but I do want to point out one quick thing. It'll also be in the second thing, but this is a great shot of it. She has actually a different appearance here, which is interesting.
I've seen a lot of people theorizing that it's not just Xehanort that is going on, that she's turning into a Darkling from Kingdom Hearts Key. For those of you who aren't aware, Darklings are Keyblade wielders who are corrupted by darkness. Not necessarily a Heartless, because they still have a heart, but just another type of enemy.
Now, to add a couple of things to what Rax just mentioned here, we've always seen that Heartless and Darkness is all very organic. It's always the bestial, mindless kind of a thing, which has always made sense for the way they did the narrative mythos, the theme of it. And you can kind of see that here, where her clothes have literally melded into her skin on her arms and on her legs. And we can see it's kind of tattered and broken both at the sleeves and around her skirt. In addendum to that, also, we have a little bit of... I know, right, Marley? The Aqua got Norded! Sorry, I had to say it once. We also have a couple of points of evidence where we've seen people who have basically got darky, for lack of a better way to put it. and it usually involves this kind of similar approach of visual style rather than
Right.
Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1, Secret of Darkness in Kingdom Hearts 1. There's the Data Heartless Sora in Recod, and I know there's others, but I can't think of them right now. Please forgive me. But these are visual examples of this same type of thing adjusting their appearance to show that they have been melded with or consumed by darkness. Hence the idea, and thus I agree basically, the idea that this is not either just Xehanort or is not Xehanort at all. I still find it interesting that for the longest time we all assumed that darkness meant Yellow Eyes, and it was only far more recently that we learned that Yellow Eyes meant Xehanort.
It's the influence of Xehanort, yeah.
I find myself wondering how true that, how much of the darkness is still a part of that. I don't know. We'll see.
Not sure.
Yeah, because we actually know what someone looks like when their eyes become affected with darkness, because we saw that with Ansem, the real Ansem.
Exactly.
And that wasn't Amber, so I don't know. So, okay, we're going to skip forward a little bit here. January 29th. Woo! Okay, so let's skip back up to... Is this normal speed? I can't even tell. There we go. Yep. Okay, so here's the chess set. Little bit of a better shot of what I was talking about with the three-dimensional thing here to verify what I was talking about earlier.
Notice the piece that Xehanort puts down, by the way.
Oh, sorry, yeah, in case you guys missed that. Hang on. There we go. So that is the piece he puts right down there in the middle. We get a nice, good shot of it right in the middle here.
That is the keychain on Terra's Ends of the Earth Keyblade. Mm-hmm. That is Terra Xehanort.
Mm-hmm.
So checkmate might mean Terra Xehanort's going to be in the finale.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about that yet. We can see a few other obvious pieces that mean obvious things here, but again, just like the legend, darkness prevails and light expires as he's playing chess here with him. What I find most interesting is just really quick. This is an excellent study right here in visual contrast. They just I hate to praise that. It's basically just a quick shot, but they did a really good job of visually distinguishing these two people. I just wanted to share that really quick. Moving on. And so then, oh God, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Ericus. Ericus, my move, isn't it? Same quote.
You can't move during checkmate. That's against the rules.
So there we have a better shot of the Big Hero 6. I'm losing all my things. And the enemies will be fighting here. Notice there's already damage in the background, by the way. I just point this out because obviously this is happening after something. Keyblade Hero 6, because Sora's a dork.
It also abbreviates to KH3, so that's...
I was trying not to point that out, but anyways. I just want to pause here really quick. This is a much better shot of the Big Hero 6 Keyblade. I kind of like the end of it, the thing designed based on the Macrobots.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the rest of it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it. Anyways. So here we're seeing some gameplay. I can unmute it now officially.
So yeah, the new Spider-Man game looks really good.
It does. I'm looking forward to it.
So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but when I actually did my KH3 premiere video, I complained a lot about how the controls for the wall running sections basically moved you in 90 degrees. You didn't really have any free control. But the skyscraper movement seems a lot more fluid now.
Yeah, as you can see here, in fact, if you pay attention, you can see where the person controlling this waggles the analog just for a second, like right there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually a lot to unpack here. So we're going to go back and
so much.
Go back down to slow speed. We're just going to go through this nice and slow here. No play. So couple of things. So if I'm not mistaken, I just want to verify this really quick. I think those are cooldowns in the lower left, just above the command board. Could you verify that for me, Rex?
Yes, those are cooldowns.
Okay, just wanted to make sure
well, what happens is with those, basically they'll pop up depending on what spells you use, what attacks you use, and depending on like your environment, and they'll tick down. Once they tick down, they go away. You can't use them anymore.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, and now just another thing, just as a very minor note, because I've heard a couple of people still comment on this. You'll notice how this is contextual, as Frozen was just pointing out. And in case you don't know what I mean by that, this is not... It's not like Kingdom Hearts 2, to use a direct example, where you had to hit a button and go up, or you were in a specific section that was running up. You walk up to the thing, and then you go up it.
And thankfully, they don't have the stupid wave effect go up the entire building like they did in the in the demo.
That was, I think we both complained about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to praise the attention to detail because it looks amazing. Anyways, moving on. I geek out about weird things. I know, guys. What do you want from me? This looks cool. What I find most interesting here is that in just a second, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to see what is effectively a flying mode.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like, okay, so no, I'm wrong. It's actually after this. But in a bit, there's something called intercept jet. It actually shows that right now. And I love the idea that there's an area which is A, sufficiently large enough, like in Dream Drop Distance, but B, allows us to have different methods of getting around and fighting. That just sounds awesome to me.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of already saw that with the toys, the big mecha toys in Toy Story, but being able to fly Baymax, yeah.
I'm wondering, especially with the Baymax thing, how large the area is going to be, because we've seen some big areas, but they're not that big.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the flight, though, is mostly linear, or if it's going to be an open sort of thing, because we'll see later on, him going through, flying through the streets.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to rewind really quick here. Can anyone understand kanji? I want to know. It's right above Rax's head. It's the green thing. It's what it is specifically is it is the name for the contextual command that he has right now. Now, if I were to guess, what I'd say is that's Baymax target this thing. I think that's what it is.
It could be. So the green circle that appeared on the enemy that basically triggered that means that enemy is triggering an attraction flow, so basically one of the Disney rides. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if they're actually expanding that, though, to be, for summons, for companion attacks, stuff like that, because that green circle has been very specific up until now.
Yeah, that's part of why I was asking, too, because as you point out, this is a known quantity up until now. Let me rewind a second, because you can kind of see... Give it a moment. Give it a moment. Yeah, here we go. So you can see it pop up next to that car. So I'm thinking actually the reaction command is for the car, and then the circle is for the summon. Because there's actually a timer ticking down. You can see it. It's very short. And then we've got another context command that shows up on the right. They actually cut away before it finishes. Again, I'm not sure what's going on with that one. This is just showing off some spells. I'm pretty sure these are straight from the Birth by... not the Birth by Sleep, the 2.5? God, what was it called?
0.2.
0.2, thank you. When you play as Aqua. Great, I'm great with. I loved the spells in that game. You'll notice we can just enter a portal and then attack everything. That's typical finisher. Just very cool looking. Nothing to add to that. Here's the flying mode. This is what I was talking about. And as you can see, it looks like we have at least a little bit of control over what we're doing. It looks a little Star Foxy, if I'm being honest.
Which is why I'm saying, I'm wondering just how much control we're going to have over this. Because you'll notice he's actually flying after the Dark Baymax.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is a specific section of the game that is not just a free roam thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is probably that. Just because I feel like pointing it out, you can see the shadows from the lampposts and the trees and the benches in a scene that you wouldn't even see unless you were pausing it. I just want to point it out. I like details. What do you want from me? Plus the graphics. Moving on. So yeah, we're chasing after Dark Baymax, as was pointed out, obviously. I don't know. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to do one quick thing here. So, in the lower left, we have a couple of specific text words there. I'm going to try to... Yeah, it looks like that is the exact same commands as in this screen, where we're clearly actually fighting in a more open environment. So I don't know what that significance of that is. Obviously, I don't read Japanese.
If you want to move me, by the way, you can, because I'm covering the menu.
I guess I should, because I wasn't going to, but I keep referencing stuff down there. So yeah, we'll just scooch you over a little bit. There we go. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I know what I'll do. I will put you under me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm actually going to move myself over, too, so we can see this. And we don't need the Imperial logo. You know what the Imperial logo is? It's something that Rax should be wearing right now.
My pin is somewhere.
Okay, so zooming through here. Just really quick thing to point out. and that's the hand. It's up there in the upper left. You can kind of see it there. It's the thing that's attacking us right now.
Wow, they made this crossover with Super Smash Brothers. No.
Yep. No, okay. This I wanted to pause here because this is the best up close shot we see of these bug things. I think in all of these trailers. And
they
again,
are definitely these.
They really, really, really look like the bugs from Recoded. Now you'll notice these are showing up.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say these are clearly showing up in what is clearly a digital area. Even though if you're looking around, you'll notice we should be on a roof right now. Like you can see the AC vent on the right.
I mean, there is a roof, but there's also an encasement of the same sort of bug blocks.
So it might be. This is wild speculation at this point, but it might be what they're doing is basically forming a portable holodeck. You know, a area where it can project here. And then, digital stuff can be presented there and interact with stuff there with the safeties off. I'm sorry, this is actually technically a better shot of it. There is no denying whatsoever at this point that these are the bug box. That's just super obvious from that shot.
Right.
And then we've got this little section. So, this looks like a mini game to me.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a mini game.
I'm cool with it. Mini games have been in since the first game.
I mean, it looks fun.
It does look kind of fun, especially since it's got more glide railing, and I always love railing. Or railing sliding. I can't remember what they call it. The railing thing. It's cool. And, of course, we're doing more of the Dream Drop Distance wee thing here. I believe that's the technical term.
That is a very technical term.
It's 7 E's, for anybody curious. So now we get back to some story stuff. My brother wanted to help people. Let's skip back to normal speed here. My brother wanted to help people. He's still here, in Baymax, in all of us. And when you're not strong enough, he'll make up the difference, says Sora. Hey, it's Roxas! Huh? Yeah, so obviously we've known for some time that Roxas is in Sora. That's been true since Kingdom Hearts 2. What I'm starting to wonder is how much of Roxas, for lack of a better way to put this, still exists. How much of the individual still exists? Judging
by this, I would say quite a bit. I would say that Roxas is fairly distinct.
Which is interesting because I was always under the personal impression that because he willingly remerged with Sora, that there was a clean merger and that there was just the one entity left. But there's been several things that have been showcasing this. This is just the latest example that Roxas is basically a separate and indistinct entity trapped, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yes, it was willing, but at the same time, he's shown a lot of resentment since then.
In other words, the idea here being that instead of a willing remerger into a new entity, it is still two separate entities who happen to be sharing the same space, which is obviously fairly relevant. Then Sora's like, whoa! And Riku's like, I can face the darkness now, which, if I'm being completely honest, irritates me, because Riku, you've been cool with this for a while now. You finished that character arc.
I find it really strange that they give Riku the new outfit. Okay, what's up with the hair?
I know. Like, the outfit doesn't actually bother me. In fact, I think it looks cool. Even the plaid. But what the hell is up with that hair?
Because we've talked about how hair in Japanese culture and in Japanese video games especially, if you change your hair, that's not something insignificant. So he must be halfway through some sort of transformation. I hate to phrase it like that, but that's the only word I can really think of for what Riku really is going through right now.
I agree completely. In fact, if I were to speculate, given that Riku, for completely arbitrary reasons I disagree with, did not complete his Mark of Mastery exam back in Dream Drop Distance, I would imagine this is related to that.
Actually, he did. Sora did not.
Oh, you're right. It was Sora who failed.
It's funny. You made the exact opposite mistake that Nomura himself did. Because Nomura said, oh, Sora. Yeah, Sora did.
Whoops. Never mind. Well, then in that case, ironically, my point is still valid. The idea being that he has completed his mark and thus his hair different, yada, yada. So.
Yep.
I stand by my statement. Nothing I've said changed. I still think that Sora failed for completely arbitrary reasons. But moving on. I think it's because you finally found the strength to protect the things that matter, says Mickey, who is admittedly getting to be a little more accepting of darkness in the more recent games, which is cool.
I find it funny that Mickey says that line after Riku has said that line twice, where Mickey has never seen him say that line.
Also, this. I think this is on the gummy ship. This looks a lot like the pseudo bridge thing they've got. I love the crown communicator. I just wanted to comment on that real quick. Hi, Riku. And then he gets Zexion. Hello, is this a bad time? Sigh. So Zexion, yes, more Zexion, please. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. It's actually Ienzo. Sorry, yeah. Or Ienzo. More Ienzo is awesome, and I want more of that. Rapunzel. It's so fluffy. It's actually heartless. I wanted to comment on this really quick. One of the things I've said many times is that while I praised the attempt, I always felt like the way they did Pirates in Kingdom Hearts 2 just didn't look good. Even at the time on the PS2, I still felt it just kind of fell flat. This looks really good.
Yeah, well, it's not up to the quality of the CGI on, I forget the actor's name, because of course it can't be. It's not a live action movie. It's very close.
Oh yeah, Bill Nye.
Especially for such a stylized game as Kingdom Hearts is. This is about as close as we're gonna get.
Oh yeah, and I agree. This actually looks astonishingly good. And I'm just gonna rewind a second here so you can see the full thing in motion, because the animation is also excellent. You'll notice his tentacles all move independently and individually, like they did in the movie. And Sparrow there also looks really, really good. Frozen, yay! Actually good facial animation, finally. So I have to bring Elsa home. I can bring her home to you. What's this doing here? It's a Keyblade. May your heart be your guiding key.
Two things about this scene. Yeah. One, I think that this happens directly before another scene we're going to see, one of the really short ones. And I find it interesting that they just canonized the original teaser that they made. Just an interesting point of note.
Yeah, because they could have just left it as one of those speculative things that never actually happened.
It's just a conceptual thing.
Anywho, it also means that in canon, in story, in lore, Sora is finally going back to Destiny Islands. But anyhow, I mean, granted, I guess it hasn't been that long since Kingdom Hearts 2, which is the last time he was there, but whatever. Luxord. No one knows what's in the chest we're looking for. Definitely
now, to Doom. Is he talking about... Actually, this is an interesting point. He could be talking about the black box. Some other people could think, oh, well, he's talking about Davy Jones's chest. So, there could be a little bit of misdirection going on unintentionally on the part of the characters.
No, I agree. No, what I actually think is it's basically both. In other words, I think that Luxord here, who's basically the guy for this world, is actively seeking the black chest and is just talking about in the deliberately vague terms of the chest to get them interested in the heart chest. That's what I'm thinking personally. So it's not like you found your 13, Sora says to Larxene. Now, this is interesting. If you're paying attention, the background is frozen here. Yeah, it's it's completely still. As in, it's not moving. It's as I've said so many times, animation is the kind of thing that draws the eye. And you can see immediately. But you can especially tell because Reindeer Dude and Guy Dude, I can't remember their names, are completely static in the background there. So whatever Larxene's doing, she's just... Which is interesting because last I checked, Larxene doesn't have the ability to do that.
No.
Anyways, so Sora's... Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I just... No.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
So Sora says, it's not like you found your 13. And she says, oh, we've got him. Huh? And then we've got the pictures again. Sora, let us help you find Roxas. You ready? And so, really, really quick, but you could see, the higher def models. I got her blinking there, but whatever. Of Olette and... Oh, geez, I can't remember any of the names. Those three. Hayner and Pence? Which, okay, I'm with it. The new... there's the other one. Giant tentacle boss thing. I don't know what to make of that. It actually looks like it doesn't even fit if you're looking at it. And of course you notice then we got ship gameplay, which looks amazing. Ship gameplay is so awesome. This is the best thing in the universe. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's go through this a little slower. If we give me a moment here. So first of all, obviously this is a boss fight. We're going around the whirlpool with the giant thing in the middle. We're actually fighting another ship in the process too, as you can see here. Just pointing out that I'm not 100% sure what that other ship is, if that's actually the Flying Dutchman or not.
That doesn't look like the Flying Dutchman, but the sails are sufficiently tattered to make me think that it could be.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that I noticed was this is an adaptation of At World's End.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Kraken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going with that. We'll see how well they're doing that. Now, what's weird is Goofy's just kind of hanging out there doing nothing. Anyway, so then we've got this attack where we just kind of go into the sky. Okay, and then we just kind of come crashing down. I'm not sure what to make of that, but it looks cool, so I'm with it.
Yeah, they've gone off the rails, I suppose.
Sure. Now here we're going to see some fighting back in Rapunzel's land. We've actually got a gambler nobody right there. Some of the usual mage heartless, new type of heartless right down there. And I think this section, no, it's not that. It's not yet. We're not seeing the Marluxia ones yet. Now you notice we are still tossing hearts out, which may or may not be relevant. I just wanted to point it out.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if anybody's doing anything with that anymore. However, you'll notice we have a Kraken summon, which is the main thing to point out there. It looks very cool and terrifying. This, again, looks like a mini game. Also, yeah, of course, we've got to have selfies. Although I do want to point out only one quick thing about the selfie thing is that this is a mini game. We've got a score, we've got a record.
Right.
And
so it seems like the little pudding flan heartless are going to be like kind of the new mushroom heartless. They're going to be the minigame heartless.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And you can see we got 1 of 7 up there, and we got an excellent for getting them. So yeah, I agree. It's probably going to be another collectionist sort of a thing. Now, Frozen is actually absolutely correct. I apologize. This actually isn't in Rapunzel Land. I wasn't even... My drink is literally blocking the lower left of my screen here. This is in Pirates Land still.
This is the Pirates, yeah.
To explain while we've got the new fish type guys and the gambler nobodies instead. I don't see what the hell Sparrow's doing. He's in the party. He's doing something because his health moved. And then, of course, Kraken summon. It's called the Storm Flag, apparently. Now that I can see that.
Yeah, that's just a finishing move for the Pirates Keyblade.
And this is the Trinity Sled. Whee! Now, what's interesting about this, and I just want to point this out very quickly, is you'll notice if you look down, there's little boost pad arrows down there. And there's more flan things down there. Mm-hmm. Which makes me think that this is some kind of multiple path race minigame type of a thing.
It could be, but I don't know if you'd be able to back up a few frames, but on the right, there's actually a chest. So this does take place in the world itself. So I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with the whole race sort of thing.
I see it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of middle rightish in the center. So yeah, now that's actually funny you bring that up, because something I've been speculating based on several of the minigames we've seen so far is the idea that the minigames are just in the world.
Right.
Kind of like they did in Twilight Town back in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Mm-hmm.
Should be cool if they did that. Just more so. Anyway, so back to this. We were getting flans. We got to take selfies. I've seen tons of meme pictures of things replacing the selfie
so
thing.
Many.
Yeah, there's a lot. Then we're fighting the Death Doom, Dark Death, Death Doom here. I don't know what this giant wolf thing is. It looks very cool. But this is in Frozen, which is what I find interesting, because as you'll notice, our party members actually Snowball. And we get to ride him, which is really cool. But this is the most interesting part, the shadow comet thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this. I mean, obviously, this is probably some sort of a reaction command sort of thing, but...
What's really strange, though, is it just doesn't act like a normal reaction command thing would.
Right.
Like the way it unfolds and all that, which I'll kind of showcase in a second. But at the same time, I will also notice this wolf thing, whatever the hell it is, has, if you look at its body, it's the same graphic as the shadowy meteor thing. It's the same substance.
So it might be like the final phase of a boss or something.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah. I'm not 100% sure. because there's just so much to speculate. However, you'll notice there are more of them in the distance on the right there. More of the wolf things with the shadow stuff trailing behind them. So I'm not sure if those are targetable or part of the terrain, but this feels like something that's almost cutscene.
Right.
I'm just not sure what's going on with this one. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, Leander brings up a good point. It might be like the Beauty and the Beast boss, where there's a first form and then there's a second form that's drastically different.
That's true. That could very well be it. So anyways, then we get back to this stuff, and Ansem's like, if he wavers from the path we lay, we destroy him. Did I mention that I'm evil? Obviously who he's referencing there is something I've seen several people debate.
Judging by how they frame it, I'm willing to bet that it is Sora, but also not Sora, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense, because I was going to say I think it's Roxas.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And of course Zigbar, or Brig, or whatever the hell he's calling himself nowadays, but then we'll have to find another vessel.
Interesting that he brings that up, because there's technically 14 or 15 applicable people now.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is probably the most interesting part to me, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen Demix.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And Vexen, now that I'm thinking about it.
Now, interesting that you use those names, because, yes, their eyes are yellow. Mm-hmm. At least I would assume Demix's eyes are yellow.
Yeah, Vexen's is clearly yellow.
Well, the mention of a plan being his idea probably means they're not really affiliated with Xehanort.
Now, I actually have, admittedly, a very boring speculation on this. I think this is a
Go
flashback.
for it. You think this is a flashback?
Yeah, I think this is information from before. I mean, they've done this many, many times before in Kingdom
Right.
Hearts. And I think this was them planning out something before. Now, ironically, I actually agree with you, because I think whatever plan they're referring to was their allegiance to someone who was not Xehanort. I just think this was something that they were doing back during the, back between 1 and 2.
Could be. Based on what we see a bit later in the trailer, I think it might be a modern day thing, but I think that it might be something related to Ansem the Wise in the present. It's just, I'll point it out later. You probably know what I'm referring to.
I do, but we'll get there. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm trying to do this linearly, which is difficult when you have to reference later things.
When you have to reference later events, because the way they cut the trailer is very strange.
Now, it is also very worth noting, and this is a very classic Nomura move. Everyone associates those cloaks with the organization for good reason, but those cloaks have nothing to do with the organization per se.
Exactly.
All they are is a defense against darkness. That's been well established. I mean, Xehanort himself was using those way back in the day, before Birth by Sleep even. So that's their purpose. Moving on. So then we see, it's Shion! The Riku I knew wouldn't do something like this. No, gesticulate.
So yeah, that's probably Data Riku.
Yeah. Especially since he looks so young.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is also the Big Hero 6 area.
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard to make out, but it is the...
No, this guy gives it away, even ignoring Sora's outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just to point out the really obvious stuff, Riku's in a cloak. He's got the old Kingdom Hearts 1 hair. He's got the old Kingdom Hearts 1 face. Yeah. Data Riku in the area that we've already pretty much shown that Data stuff can interact with the world, so pretty likely this is Data Riku.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have Roxas. Now, I admit I don't know where this is. Where the hell is this?
That's Ventus. That is in Castle Oblivion.
Oh, sorry. I'm actually meant to say Ventus. I completely screwed up on that. But Castle Oblivion doesn't look like this.
Or did I say Castle Oblivion? I meant Land of Departure. So clearly something is going to happen to revert it back to its original state.
Yeah. And again, I find myself wondering if, once again, if this is a flashback, or if this is something like you say, something happened to revert the Land of Departure. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. So there's
Once
Ventus.
again, I think it's probably a thing where they present things out of order because later on we see a similar scene, but I think that this happens after that scene.
Yeah. Now, of course, Vanitas is here, which can make sense.
It can make a lot of sense, maybe not.
Yeah.
It can make some sense, sure.
Yeah. The best I've got, this is just pure speculation at this point, is if we're to presume that someone who merges with someone else still is a separate entity rather than a full merger, then this is basically the same thing we were seeing earlier with Roxas and Sora, that Vanitas is still in Ventus.
See, I think it's a lot more mundane than that.
Okay.
I think that somehow Aqua, who is not Norded, and who is freed from the darkness that happens in the game at some point, I think she, goes back to Castle Oblivion, unlocks the world, and Vanitas just follows her in. I think it's simple as that, really.
Well, that would make sense, except for the fact that Vanitas exists to follow her in, which is the only thing I would need to have explained at that point. So I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, that's a whole different can of worms, to be honest.
Yeah, he should not be here. Anybody who hasn't followed Kingdom Hearts, that person should not be here at all. So then Aqua has her line, "All that's left in my heart is misery and despair. Darkness." It's misery and despair, and I want you to feel it. Which, in addition to being just kind of a cool, edgy line, sounds a lot like what Data Roxas said back in Recode. Like a lot like what he said. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not saying she's a Data person. I'm just saying I think there's some thematic connections there. You can see a little bit better what I mean by the outfit change here, consequently. You can see kind of the scales that are growing there, that are the way her arm things, I know there's a term for those, are kind of merging with her actual arm, etc., etc. And then she's going to whirl dramatically in just a minute. There we go. We're going to quarter speed, guys. You got to work with me here. And, of course, the style of her Keyblade being, as I myself have pointed out, and several thousand other people pointed out, the Starseeker looking thing. Is it Starseeker?
Yes. Okay. Looks like Starseeker, shaped like the Kingdom Key.
Today we join the other Keyblade wielders and leave our mark on fate. It's Xehanort. Oh my god. It's Xehanort.
I don't know if you're going to be unmuting it, but the voice actor right here sounds basically just like, what's his name? Otsuka. Chikao Otsuka, I think is his name. So I think they're getting people who sound basically just like the voice actors who have passed.
Yeah, for those of you not aware, it's not just Leonard Nimoy who died. The voice actor who played Xehanort in Japanese.
In Japanese as
also died. Anywho, so I'll unmute it really quick here. Whoa, well, let's speed it up first. There you go. So you can kind of hear his voice there very quickly. And he's right, it does sound very similar to him. And then, of course, we have... Whoa, I got to go back down to the quarter speed. Whoop, that's quad speed, not quarter speed. So once again, we're going to do the flash through stuff very quickly here. At quad speed! No,
Please, no. I can't do that.
Yeah, you'll catch nothing. So, what's interesting about this, just to point it out really quick, you'll notice that the Aqua who is fighting the Guardian there is completely normal. This is just normal Aqua. It goes by very quickly, but it's most obvious there because you can see her arm thing, which is completely the same as it normally is, and her arm is completely unchanged. She doesn't have the scales, and her hair is blue, and blah, blah, blah. So that's just her fighting the Guardian. Now, I do think that's significant because, well, first of all, we still don't, to this day, do not know what or who the Guardian is. But we also know the Guardian is always directly associated with Terranord. Or Ansem Seeker of Darkness.
Or with Ansem,
yeah.
Right.
But the point being, one of those two is probably involved in whatever altercation is going on with Aqua here. Whether this is happening before or after the darkness thing is more debatable. And then, of course, and then we see a slightly more, another shot of Kairi and Lee. I can't catch myself on that one. You can tell it's Lee. His eyes give it away.
Right.
The eyes give it away.
And he doesn't have the markings.
Mm-hmm. But then we see, now this is most interesting. Demyx carrying someone who looks a hell of a lot like Ienzo. This is very interesting to me, because this is what Rax was referring to earlier, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I can move you back into the corner so we can get a better shot of this here. No, you. There we go. Back in the corner with you. Because the idea here is that that might not be Demyx, that might be whatever his name is, and that's Ienzo, excuse me, and they're working with someone or to someone, or they're basically coordinating with each other to some extent or another. Now, I have no idea who he's carrying, but there's another shot of Ienzo. That looks a lot like Luxord, which weirds me out. On the right there?
The beard is not. That's Ansem the Wise.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I feel like that's being done deliberately to make it look like it's Luxord. Because the beard is wrong. In fact, I could give you a one-to-one shot if I could find it. Give me a second.
Well, I mean, even just the way that he is interacting with Ienzo.
Oh, yeah, that's
kind of just because Ansem was always sort of his adoptive father.
Yeah. I know Luxord's in here somewhere. It's even a sideways. There you go, perfect. This makes it very clear. The nose is different. The lips are different. The beard is different. So it is different. But, again, probably some deliberate misdirection for people who aren't paying that much attention to think, oh my god, but no, that's Ansem. That's got to be Ansem. And considering the last time we saw Ansem the Wise, he was in the cloak, that makes sense.
Right.
So the question is, what the hell's going on with him at this point? Like last we saw, he'd lost his memories, and we're even sure it was him.
Yeah.
I still have the theory that it's not actually him; it's the other half of him. But whatever. Anyways,
who knows?
So then we see someone. I don't know if I should call him Syx or Issa at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I want to point this out because this is very important. That's Lee. That is not Axel. You can tell because you can see on his face the markings are not there. So that's Lee. So this is pretty definitively not a flashback, unlike some of the other things, earlier things which might be. This is definitely not. Which also, admittedly, adds credits to the idea that the others are also not a flashback.
Right.
I'm sorry, what, Max Time? I don't understand your question. So then, oh my god, and then, no, oh my gosh, death, destruction. Gotta have the hand thing, Ventus. Of course, the sunset. Tears for Lee. For some reason, I don't know why. And I don't know who this loser is. Kingdom Hearts 3, 4 months. Let's rewind just a second because I want to cover a couple other things super quick in that bit we zipped by. So Ansem, Issa. Now this is interesting to me because this to me could mean one of two things. Either there is some of the real Issa in this person, or this is his attempt to diplomatize Lee to Xehanort's side.
To Xehanort's side, right. Could go either way, I think.
Yeah,
especially because Issa wasn't really he wasn't really cognizant during Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah,
he was basically fully under Xehanort's control.
Yeah, so unsure. Good, yeah, like I said, could go either way. I hope, Max Time, that Ansem the Wise has a large influence on what's going on, because that would appeal to me. It would also make sense that someone like Ansem the Wise would either still be a player or would still have wheels in motion, one of the two.
Yeah. I mean, if Demyx...
Uh-oh.
There we go, fixed it. If Demyx, or whoever that is, somehow brought Ansem the Wise back from the Realm of Darkness, and then Ansem started to plan and try to infiltrate the organization in some way, like... and that's the plan that they're talking about. That seems feasible to me, but finding Ansem is the big key there.
Because as we've seen, and this we don't know a lot about the Realm of Darkness, but two of the things we know about it is that time is weird there and space is weird there. Yep. So finding anything there is just
you lose somebody Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So they would need someone who either can traverse the darkness very well, Riku, or someone who's been there a long time and is acclimated to it, Aqua.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then we see. Now I think this is young Xehanort. No, I'm sorry. No, this is Terranort. I can see by the outfit. This is Terranort, which is only relevant because it means Terranort's going to be in the game in some fashion, which by itself is weird.
Which is, it kind of goes back to what I said about the chess piece.
Yeah,
he might be in the finale.
Yeah, so we'll see exactly what's going on with him. We don't see his eyes, so we can't see much about that. Now, this is a weird one to me, this shot right here. So, obviously, Vanitas, Keyblade, Aqua, that's all obvious. What the hell is that?
Good question.
And if you see, it's kind of... It's not... Okay,
it's got a light shimmering behind it.
Yeah, and it's just pulsating back there. But whatever the thing is, it's static. It's not moving. So... And of course, this is in the land of departure, if that's not very obvious.
Mm-hmm. This is the scene that I said probably takes place around the time of the other one.
Yeah. So then, of course, Sora reaching out to Aqua. Then that's her hand. Sora approaching the station of departure for Ventus. Finally. Sora and Kairi. Not much to add there.
Two Wov.
Lee crying there is weird to me.
Yeah, because that place is... He's only ever interacted with Kairi there.
Mm-hmm.
Which means one thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you all know what.
Yeah. Clearly it's true love.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, and this is... So obviously this is Roxas. Or it could be Ventus.
Probably... No, that's definitely Roxas because of the Keyblades.
Where is this?
Good question.
See, that's the big one for me.
That's not Twilight Town, because initially everyone's thinking this is Data Roxas. But that doesn't look like Twilight Town.
No, it doesn't. They use different lighting for each of the worlds, and this one does not look like the lighting in any world we have seen to date, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is any world we've seen so far.
Keyblade Graveyard? Doubt it.
Yeah,
doesn't have structures like this. Doesn't have actual civilization.
Yeah, this is clearly some kind of building thing. But yeah, no, I agree with Max Time. I think this is a new world. I think this is, in their typical fashion, they're teasing.
A tease of the next world, yeah.
Yeah, whatever they're going to show next. If they're going to show it at all, they might not. Because we know Nomura's gone on record saying that they haven't shown 3 of the worlds, I think, something like that.
They said there's going to be at least 10 worlds. I think they've shown 8 so far.
Okay, so 2 more worlds, according to them.
At least 2 more.
At least 2 more that we have not seen at all. And I think Rax and I both still like the idea of the combobulate world, the merged world, which could be really awesome if they do that properly, but we'll see. But yeah, no, I don't know what that is, and I can't even speculate on what that is, because...
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few people say that looks like Agrabah. God, I hope not.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of Agrabah at this point. I mean, you've covered the Disney movie, you've covered Aladdin, and then you covered The Return of Jafar.
Yeah. And
then you did both of them again, like 3 more times.
They can do King of Thieves, but I think everyone's just kind of sick of the world.
Yeah, I don't... It's like Atlantis at this point. It's like... it's going to be worse. Now, and I've heard a lot of speculation on what exactly it could be. You know, Frozen says it could be Indiana Jones.
Some people say the ruins of Daybreak Town.
Yep. The most of the speculation I've seen, and I don't want to sound like I'm biased here, but I'm totally biased. The most interesting speculation I've seen has been basically try to find another Disney property that fits that appearance.
Exactly.
And that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't look cartoony enough to be a Disney film, but it could be a Pixar property, for example, or other properties I'm not going to mention. Star Wars, Marvel. I hope not, if I'm being honest, but this could fit other Pixar-y things, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, because I've looked at it. I've gone through trying to comb through Disney's massive library to try to find something that lines up with it. Nope, no luck.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Where is it? Is this it? Give me a second, because I found a list. Yeah, this is it, of basically the Pixar films Just zooming down the list really quick. Good Dinosaur? Nope. Bug's Life? Nope. Cars 2? Or Cars,
No.
I guess I should say. Possible, but very unlikely. Brave? Possible. That's the
I've
only
never
one.
seen Brave, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Brave so far is the only one that even would fit at all. Castle, kind of dark lighting, etc. Cars 3, Cars 1, Monsters University, nope. Finding Nemo, nope. Coco is another one that some people have been saying. I don't think so. This does not look.
Well, here's the thing. Big Hero 6 is confirmed to be the last world that they are pulling from in terms of Disney's library.
Oh.
So they're not pulling from anything more recent than that.
Okay, I get you. So it couldn't be Coco then. Inside Out wouldn't fit at all. Toy Story is already in. Up? No.
No.
Yeah. Ratatouille? No. Monsters Inc. is already in. Toy Story is already in. Toy Story is already in. Finding Nemo already talked about. The Incredibles doesn't fit this. This doesn't look like The Incredibles.
Yeah, this doesn't look like anything I've seen from any Disney property aside from Aladdin.
Oh, and the last one's Wall-E. So, good. What's he doing?
I'm going to eject the Aladdin argument.
It's totally Aladdin. That's
it's
why there's
an original world.
Yeah, no.
I'm at least 99% certain.
That's what I'm thinking too, because looking at that now, granted, there's a lot of things it could be, but I don't think it's any other Pixar thing. I literally just went down the list of 19 Pixar films. It's not any of those. The only one it even maybe fits is Brave, barely.
Yeah.
So that's the only maybe on that list. Marvel,
and it just does not fit the color palette at all.
Yeah, I agree. Marvel, nothing Marvel looks like this from the cinematic stuff that I can think of. And if they're pulling in something comic-y or whatever, then I can't speculate on it because there's just too much to pull from there. Star Wars, no. I mean, there are things like that look like this in Star Wars, but nothing really feels Star Wars-y about this.
Right.
Star Wars has a very distinct visual style. Actually, to be more accurate, Star Wars has two visually distinct styles: the Sheener prequel stuff and the lived-in original trilogy stuff. This is neither. So, I don't know. It's probably original, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that on record. I think it's original.
Yeah. It's just, what are they doing with it? Because it's apparently not anything we've seen before in the series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize it, at least.
And then the end. Then there's some other gameplay, which I actually don't have the footage of right here because I'm a moron. But that is it. That is the end. Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out January 29th. Make sure to vote on that in December when I put the vote up.
Everybody vote for him to play it later so you can play it when it comes out.
Yeah, that's what the vote's going to be about. First of all, I want to say real quick thanks to Rax for splicing that together for me and adding the subtitles to make that a lot easier to cut through. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's about all I got. I don't have much else to add to that. It looks very cool. Lots of interesting information. Lots of speculation. Any thoughts, Rax?
I don't have any additional thoughts on the trailers themselves. The one thought I have about the gameplay that you're probably not going to show is a bit of a spoiler. So you got 5 seconds to mute.
Hang on. I actually have a thing for this. Right there. Whoa, it's covering you. Let's push that back a little bit. There we go. There's now a spoiler. Rosebud, it was his sled!
So in that gameplay, Sora is in the realm of darkness fighting Aqua.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what to make of that. It's probably something to do with the Keyblade that he found, but I'm not sure.
Oh, shoot. I meant to check something. I'm pretty sure it's Dark Aqua, with the organic look, but I don't remember. Was it?
It is, yes.
Okay. So yeah, he is fighting Dark Aqua. Unfortunately, and I hate to be the boring person, but the most likely thing to happen is that this is the classic trope of I will beat you to be a friend. I will beat the evil out of you.
Probably. This is Sora we're talking about.
Yeah, so that's just what I think is going on there. Very simple. This, oh my God, Aqua, no, I'll save you. Whap, whap, whap.
Yeah, Riku probably fails at some point. Runs away because, of course, and then Sora somehow finds his way to the realm of darkness.
Yeah, and he just strolls around the corner. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm in the realm of darkness. Huh. This looks cool. Oh, hey, Aqua, what's up? Oh, excuse me, Darkwa. What's up, Darkwa? Things. Bonus points if he uses the key to unlock her heart. No. God damn it! We just need to kill Sora. The series would be so much better if Sora was dead. I mean, hi. Okay, I'll get rid of the spoilers thing now. Boop. So that is it. That is going to be the end of our lore week. I'm going to go ahead and chop off the local recording.